Two of the great rags to riches stories in college football meet today in Manhattan. Art Briles took Baylor to their first bowl game in 16 years last year. And the Bears and quarterback Robert Griffin are 3-0. They've reached the top 15 in the polls. And the man they call RG3 is playing like a Heisman favorite. Today, Baylor comes to Wildcat country. Bill Snyder has Kansas State back on the map again. Also 3-0. Coming off a road upset at Miami last week. It's Baylor and Kansas State in a Big 12 opener now. Welcome to ESPN on ABC College Football, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. And welcome to Manhattan, Kansas. It's a Big 12 opener between number 15 Baylor and Kansas State that has drawn unexpected national attention. Again, everyone, Bob Wischusen alongside Bob Davie. I'm not sure when the Big 12 put together their schedule initially that everyone expected this game would be such a focal point. But two undefeated teams. Baylor ranked 15th in the country. We've got a Heisman Trophy candidate in the game as well. I guess it's no wonder that this game is drawing as many eyeballs as it is.
You're right. And this game's all about the different styles of these two offenses. Baylor, up-tempo, fast-paced, true spread offense. I mean, they thrive on the deep ball, big play down the field. Look for Art Briles to get up there and snap it as fast as he can. On the other side, Kansas State, very methodical. Bill Snyder's going to try to slow this game down, wear Baylor down in the fourth quarter. Look for Bill Snyder to use all 40 seconds, probably snap it with 1 second left on that play clock. It's all about slowing it down, keeping the ball away from Baylor if you're Bill Snyder.
And keeping Robert Griffin off the field if you can, because RG3 has put up video game numbers so far this year.
We've all watched him on television. You and I had a chance to watch him on tape yesterday. Come away, appreciate him even more. A total quarterback now. You love the way he stays in the pocket. The most impressive thing, how accurate he is on the deep balls.
And here come the Wildcats. Terrific atmosphere here in Manhattan, and we'll kick it off in just a moment. Since 1990, Kansas State here at Bill Snyder Family Stadium is 113-26-1. This has been a tough place to play. And you know what? You know you've done a heck of a job, Bob Davie, as the head coach of a program when they name the stadium after you and you're still on the sidelines. Bill Snyder in his 20th year with this program. And Art Briles, the head coach at Baylor, and of course last season, success that really vaulted his program into the national spotlight as well.
Yeah, and I think a testimony just how far Baylor's program has come under Art Briles. We've been in Manhattan the last couple days. This is a big game. Baylor now coming to your stadium is a big game. I think that says a lot about how far this program's come.
Baylor's going to start with the football, so we will see Robert Griffin III and the first offensive possession as Kansas State lost the toss. Baylor, unlike most teams in college football, after they won the toss, they want to put their offense on the field. That is the strength, and it's basically going to be the story of today's game. Is there a way that the Kansas State defense can slow down what has been a juggernaut offense so far this year for Baylor?
And they know what's coming. Last year in Waco, Baylor had 683 total yards on Kansas State. Baylor number 2 total offense in the country right now. That's the reason Art Briles takes that ball.
We're underway in Manhattan. From the 11-yard line. Sampson gets loose. All the way out to midfield. Dimitri Goodson on the return. That is a terrific return. And here comes the Heisman candidate, Robert Griffin III. 85% completion percentage. That is ridiculous. Number 1 in the country. More touchdown passes than incompletions through the first 3 games.
And I think you would agree, as good as he is on tape as a player, talking to him on the phone for 10 minutes this week, he's even a better person. I mean, that's about the most impressive interview I've been around.
A slow throw that's scooped up by Kendall Wright, and already Robert Griffin is 1 for 1. And that is his favorite target. Kendall Wright has been terrific, already a two-time All Big 12 selection. And he might, with the numbers he's put up so far this season, be on his way to a third distinction. And Griffin finds him again. First down for Baylor inside the 35 of Kansas State. Nigel Malone brought him down.
The first thing on defense, get lined up. That sounds so simple, but Baylor, one of the fastest tempos. Baylor and Oregon, probably the 2 fastest tempos in all of college ball.
A little flip. Breaking tackles. There goes Wright. And he's tripped up in the red zone. David Garrett might have saved a touchdown, but the quick strike Baylor offense in business already inside the 20.
You can see right away how they stress you physically and mentally. A lot of different plays already. Art Brow's one of the best offensive coordinators in the country, just distributing that ball.
A little bubble screen to Tevin Reese, and Reese is inside the 10-yard line. 2nd down and 2 at the 8. This Baylor offense this season averages 1 minute and 53 seconds per scoring drive. So that factors in the scoring drives that have been a little bit longer. The middle goes Ganaway. And he gets shut down at about the 6-yard line. Very close to a first down, though.
I think this game, as it evolves for both defenses, I think both offenses will move the ball. Red zone defense. Keep them out of the end zone. Make them kick field goals.
Quick snap on 3rd down and a foot, and it looks like Robert Griffin has the first down. It'll be 1st and goal Baylor at the 5.
2 key statistics. Turnovers. Which defense can force a turnover? Which defense can hold the opponent to either a field goal or keep them from scoring at all in the red zone? See right now, Kansas State a little late getting lined up.
A slant into the end zone, a quick strike to Gerard Monk. The tight end gets loose at the goal line, and Griffin with a perfect opening drive. His 14th touchdown pass of the season.
You can see field position. They're tough enough to stop when they have to go 80, but when they have to go 50, they're almost impossible to stop. That opening kickoff return, the key to that drive. But what an impressive execution by Baylor here on the road.
And all it took was 1 minute and 48 seconds, better than their average. And just like that, boy, you blink and Baylor's on top 7-0.
You don't see a lot of this little pop pass to the tight end anymore. That came out of nowhere on the Kansas State defense.
Bob Wischusen, Bob Davie back at Kansas State. Didn't take long. We have yet to play 2 minutes, and already the 15th ranked Bears with a 7-0 lead. Robert Griffin now with 14 touchdown passes against 12 incompletions this year. A 7-play touchdown drive. And Coach, we are about to see contrasting styles, to say the least, as Kansas State's offense will not look anything like what we just saw. David Garrett from the 6. Garrett up the sideline, a good return out to about the 31-yard line. So here comes Colin Klein, and he has been very solid this year in his own right.
Really an option quarterback. Was a wide receiver as a freshman. Very good runner, very tough. And there's not a guy that's going to take it 60 yards, but he'll take it 5 or 6 yards. And that's kind of the style of this Kansas State offense. Very methodical, try to keep the clock running.
Start with the bubble screen. To the near side, it's Tyler Lockett. That's a name that Kansas State fans are certainly familiar hearing, is Tyler Lockett following his dad and uncle's footsteps. His dad, Kevin, is the all-time leading receiver with over 3,000 career yards here at Kansas State.
And may be able to give Kansas State what they desperately need, Bob. That's some big plays. They are as explosive as Baylor is. Kansas State is that much less explosive offensively.
On an end around, looked about 2 yards shy of the first down. So it will be 3rd down and 2 for Kansas State after we take a look at the Wildcats impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Well, it's interesting. The first impact player for Kansas State's from Waco. John Hubert, the tailback, not real big, not real fast, but has been very productive. Chris Harper, a wide receiver transfer from Oregon. He's about 225 pounds, good blocker in the open field. I think on defense, Kansas State's going to line up and try to run it up inside. Nicholas John Batiste, about 330 pounds. I think he needs to have a big day in the middle.
Chris Harper's in the slot. Play clock down to 8. 3rd down and 1.5 yards. Design rollout for Klein. Flips it to Harper, and he's got a 1st down. Shoved out of bounds by Mike Hicks. It's amazing when we watched on tape. The Kansas State offense basically operates within 8 yards of the line of scrimmage. It's like they're always in the red zone. As opposed to watching Baylor on tape, it's one deep ball after another. And we saw Baylor march it right down the field quickly on their opening drive. And you can see most of what Kansas State seems to do is in that confined space.
Yeah, it's a condensed offense. You can see it right here. 2 tight end look right here, the fullback in the wing. And the other contrast, he's looking over using that 40-second clock, letting it wind down.
Hubert with a little cutback to the 47-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 7. And let's take a look at Coach Davies' focus point.
Well, the first one's pretty simple, and I know Bill Snyder believes this because of what happened last year in Waco. For the offense, keep the ball away from Baylor. For the defense, even though they're going to throw those screens out there, Baylor, you have to keep the football in front of you. Don't give up the big play. And the last one, this one's hurt them already. Should have been a Kansas State advantage. Set up a score in the kicking game. They gave up a score almost in the kicking game.
And Dimitri Goodson put the ball in plus territory on the opening kickoff return. 2nd and 7, and here's Hubert. A little stutter step down the sideline, and he's got a 1st down. Chance Casey forced him out. Well, that's a gain of 10 more yards for John Hubert.
You know, this game really is going to come down to which defense. Similar to last year's game, you look back a year ago, and I know this is 4 games into this season, but both of these defensive teams really struggled all season last year. So we've talked all about these offenses, contrasting styles. Which defense is going to be able to step up and show improvement?
They keep it on the ground. Hubert up the middle, and he may have gotten a yard. Rodney Chadwick made the stop.
First Big 12 conference game. A lot of times non-conference games, those stats are deceiving. You look back to last year, Baylor's defense 104th total, 114th in pass yards given up. Kansas State's defense actually 106 total and 119th in rush. So this is when the season starts as far as keeping track of statistics today, because this is the first real Big 12 game.
Trap handoff, and this time trying to turn the corner, and doing so is Chris Harper. Just shy of a 1st down as we check in with Robert Flores.
Hey, Bob. Time now for a Dr. Pepper Big 12 Conference update. Texas A&M plays Baylor in a couple of weeks. Next month, they get Kansas State. Today, they lost to Arkansas. Christine Michael stopped on 4th and short. Arkansas wins 42-38. Aggies outscored 25-3 in the second half. Bob.
Wow, Robert, that's an amazing comeback for Arkansas, as Texas A&M had it rolling. Now they'll go Wildcat. Angelo Peace on 3rd down and a yard. Finds a seam, moves the pile, and that looks to be good for a Kansas State 1st down to the 32-yard line.
Yeah, Angelo Pease, a junior college transfer. Reminds people of Daniel Thomas, the running back they had last year. Pease was also a quarterback in junior college. They used him in the Wildcat right there. You see exactly as expected what this game is. Kansas State slow, methodical, just trying to make 1st downs, keeping Robert Griffin over there on that sideline.
Play clock down under 4. Just the way Kansas State wants it, and they'll run the option. Klein grinds out a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
In this game, it's obvious what Bill Snyder's plan is. You're going to see that 40-second clock wind down to just about 1 or 2 every time they snap it. But he's like that just about every week. He is a coach that wants the perfect play. They do a lot of checking at the line of scrimmage. 10th play in this drive right now, so it's going according to plan for Kansas State.
It's funny, they almost take their own crowd out of the game, as methodical as they are. It is quiet in here.
That's a great point. And that crowd gets nervous. There's a lot of anxiety when that clock's ticking down like it is right now.
Here comes the blitz. Quarterback draw. Klein beats it up the middle. And it looks to be good for another first down. Colin Klein took some shots last week in the game at Miami. He came out of that game bloodied, but he ran for 93 yards and a touchdown. Well, really, it was a big reason why they won.
And really, Colin Klein is the tailback, and this is the fullback on the quarterback draw. Klein's the 225-pound guy. Hubert, you see, blocking the outside guy because there's no linebacker in the hole. Colin Klein really the tailback in this offense as far as north-south runs.
Klein on a keeper again to the 16-yard line. That's a gain of nearly 5 yards on first down for Colin Klein. Ahmad Dixon made the stop for Baylor, but exactly the kind of drive that Kansas State needed, answering the quick strike of the Bears to start.
And you're always trying to get a schematic advantage, trying to get one more than you, Bill Snyder, offensively, whether it's option game with the quarterback as the ball carrier, quarterback runs with the remaining back as the lead blocker. Always a schematic advantage. Not the big play, but the 4 or 5 yard play.
Hubert. Hard to bring down at 5'7", 185 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 3. After we tell you that later on tonight, it's number 8 and number 7 under the lights at Camp Randall. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines, part of Tailgate Week. Fired up by Kingsford Charcoal, and they will be fired up tonight in prime time on ABC. Nebraska and Wisconsin. That will be a fun game to watch.
This 3rd down is going to be fun to watch, too, because you know the quarterback run is all part of the equation. Baylor showing corner blitz. Klein sees it. May check off to the pass now.
No deep safeties on 3rd and 3.5. Here comes the blitz. Klein floats it over the middle. Hubert's got it and walks into the end zone for the touchdown. No one was home in the middle of the field for Baylor.
Young guy from Waco, Texas, John Hubert, is going to line up in the backfield. Bill Bennett comes with the all-out blitz, and they turn the tailback loose. But how about a young guy from Waco getting his first touchdown against his hometown Bears up there?
Colin Klein with his 5th touchdown pass of the season against only 1 interception, and this one was like stealing.
Yeah, you're going to see he's going to come with a double linebacker and corner blitz. They're going to turn the running back loose right up the seam right here. All-out blitz. And a great catch right there by Hubert.
The answer from Kansas State, we're tied. College football is all about tailgating, and here in the Little Apple in Manhattan, Kansas, they do it well. We're tied at 7 in the first quarter. Under 6 minutes to go as we take a look at Coach Davies' focus points from the Baylor side of the football.
Yeah, the first one's obvious. Get as many snaps as possible for your Baylor. Keep the pressure on Kansas State by your play calling. Second thing, most of Baylor's big passes come off run action. Play action pass, throw it down the field. They have to get Ganaway, the tailback, going. And the third thing, force Kansas State into 2nd and 3rd and long. Colin Klein threw very well on that first drive, but he is more of a runner than he is a passer.
Short kick to the near side. Roscoe Martin out to the 15-yard line. Lost the football. The Wildcats think they have it. Signal yet. The guys in purple people. Pretty much every one of them thinks that it's Kansas State football, and it is.
Great look at it right there. You talk about putting your helmet on the ball. That is picture perfect right there. The recovery right there by 21. Jonathan Truman. And any way you can keep Robert Griffin on the sideline, keep him over there. They're 1 for 1 in kicking game. They gave up the kickoff return for 50, but they forced a turnover, Kansas State.
Looked like Jared Loomis was the player that knocked it out for Kansas State, and the Wildcats right back in business. To the near side, inside the 25 to about the 22-yard line, goes John Hubert. Chance Casey was able to bump him out after a gain of about 3.5. It'll be 2nd down and a long 6.
You're going to see a lot of that action you just saw right there. A lot of quarterback read, putting the ball in the tailback's belly off the sweep and reading how the defensive end plays it. Here you see Kansas State in more of a conventional 2-back look, again going Wildcat with Klein up at the top as the wide receiver.
Actually, Hubert picked up close to 5. 2nd down and 5. Angelo Pease lines up to take the snap. He hit a cutback lane, somehow maintains his balance. He's got a 1st down when it looked like he was down at about the 17-yard line, but he's inside the 15, 1st and 10 at the 14.
Well, they are really excited about Pease. Again, he's the Wildcat quarterback, very similar to Daniel Thomas last year. High snap. Boy, that is a great job of keeping his balance. You're allowed to put your hand down. Can't put your forearm down. You're allowed to put your hand down. Again, that clock's going to keep ticking. It's going to tick on down. These fans are going to get nervous. But Bill Snyder has a plan.
Play clock at 4. Klein to the bubble. And a gain of 1.5 yards to Sheldon Smith. And keep in mind, too, when the Baylor offense scored, we had just under 13 minutes to go in the first quarter. Actually, a hair over 13 minutes. Now we're down to 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go. And they haven't seen the football again. So there's a chance if Kansas State runs their offense the way that you would expect even here in the red zone, there could be under 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. It's 11 minutes of game clock gone before Baylor sees the ball again. Hubert still on his feet. Driven back at about the 13, maybe the 12-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down.
Here's that quarterback power I'm talking about. The mechanics are really different. Watch the quarterback. He kind of shuffles with the tailback, and he's reading this defensive end. The defensive end stays inside number 10. He hands the ball to the tailback on the sweep. If number 10 would have jumped outside, Colin Klein will keep that and go north and south. One of the few teams in the country that run that play. Pretty unique design.
3rd down and 7. This time Sam Hall, the deep safety, stays in the middle of the field for Baylor. It's only a 4-man rush. Klein tries to buy time, hit his offensive lineman in the head with the ball. It bounced right off of Clyde Offner's helmet, with Gary Mason bringing pressure for Baylor. So that will set up a field goal attempt for Kansas State.
You can see 2nd, 3rd and long. Big advantage for Baylor. Klein's going to make some throws, particularly off play action. He's going to be able to throw those bubble screens, but when it's a passing down, even though that was a screen, he's not a real polished passer yet.
So Anthony Cantelli, who played a year of soccer at Missouri State before transferring to Kansas State from 28 yards out. And the fumbled kickoff turns into 3 for the Wildcats. That's a win for Baylor on defense, though. It's a 3-point Kansas State lead. When you land in Kansas City and you ask them how to get to Manhattan, they say drive about 100 miles due west, and they make it pretty clear when it's time to get off the highway. They're right.
It's your first trip to the Little Apple, isn't it?
I live near the Big Apple, so now I can say I've been to both.
Brought a little of that Jersey sarcasm out here to the heartland this weekend.
There's a small difference between the two towns. Not as much as you'd expect.
Brought a little of that attitude with you.
I don't need you pointing it out. Line drive kick. And this one will go for a touchback. Jared Salubi lets it bounce. As we take a look at today's Baylor impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. They scored so quickly we didn't have a chance to get to Kendall Wright earlier.
I think this is one of the most explosive players in all of college ball right here. I mean, he's a tough matchup for anybody. Down on the field, really strongly built. Terrence Ganaway, about 240 pounds, finally maturing. Gives Baylor a north-south threat. On defense, Arthur Brown, middle linebacker, transferred from Miami after 2 years. Had a great game last week against his former teammates down in Miami. He's an impact guy, but he kind of gets taken out of the game a little bit in this kind of scheme.
Ganaway up the middle. A gain of 5 yards. It'll be 2nd and 5. And coach, already Baylor with a touchdown on the board, going up against a team in Kansas State that through the first 3 games only allowed 10 points a game. So this is really the matchup.
Yeah, and throw that Kansas State defense stat out.
That might have been a backward pass. They'll rule it an incompletion. And it heads out of bounds past Kendall Wright. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
And the reason I say throw that stat out for Kansas State, they held Eastern Kentucky to 129, Ken 199. Miami had 411, but they have a chance right here. You don't get a lot of chances to get these 3rd and 7s right here against Baylor.
Griffin under some pressure. Across his body, wide open and unable to connect with Terrence Williams. Oh, if Griffin gets a little more smoke on the football, that might have been a touchdown.
Anytime you have a quarterback with the speed of Griffin that moves out of the pocket, that coverage breaks down. That time that coverage broke down completely for Kansas State. And you're exactly right, Bob. If he gets that ball there, that might have been a big, big play.
You know what's news? Robert Griffin had 2 incompletions in 1 set of downs. He only came into today with 12 incompletions on the season. A pretty spiraling kick down the sideline by Spencer Roth, but it floats out of bounds at the 35-yard line of Kansas State. A 40-yard punt, but pretty good field position for the Wildcats as they'll try and build on a 3-point lead. Something we're going to do each week. I love this. We're going to go inside the locker room a bit. Some coach speak. They call Bill Snyder the scheme doctor. What does that mean, Bob Davey?
Yeah, Phil Bennett and I, Baylor's defensive coordinator, talking this week. We both agreed this is the exact definition of scheme doctor. Bill Snyder, he wants the perfect play. He wants a schematic advantage. Every snap shows you right here. He's going to make that quarterback look over and get the check every time.
Play action for Klein. Klein's going to run it. He picks up 6 yards out to the 41-yard line. Elliott Coffey tripped him up. But, I mean, is that the strategy? You see the quarterback look over. The play clock winds down. What is the goal for Bill Snyder?
Look, he's at a place. Barry Switzer said it was the coaching job of the decade, turning Kansas State around. He's used to being at a place where they don't have quite the athletes that he's competing against. We watched that tape yesterday on offense. He has a lot of little schematic advantage plays. He wants everything perfectly orchestrated. He wants to control every call, and he wants to check the perfect play against the perfect defense. That's why he's the scheme doctor.
Play action for Klein. Looks to his check down running back in Hubert. And Hubert has a big play. All the way down to the 36-yard line of Baylor. And a flag comes out. That might be a face mask. A gain of 23. The flag thrown on the tackle.
Scheme doctor's using Hubert as a receiver. That was great composure, though, by Colin Klein. Most guys that haven't played quarterback very long that are runners, they want to take off and run with the ball. He showed some presence to stay in that pocket and get the ball to Hubert on that little pass.
Clay Fuller is a wide receiver. He was called for the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty And that must have been a sideline penalty. Maybe woofing a little bit too much on the Baylor sideline. So all of a sudden, Kansas State's back in the red zone. Klein gets shut down at the 20. Shoved back by Rodney Chadwick and Gary Mason as we check in with Robert Flores.
Hey, Bob, Taco Bell studio update. Orwin Smith has 2 touchdowns as Georgia Tech, who leads the nation in both scoring and offense, leading 14-0 on the road against NC State. They are 4-0 for the first time since 1990.
All right, Robert, thanks very much. Coach Davey and I got a chance to see the nightmare that is the Georgia Tech offense last week. North Carolina got tortured by it. 2nd and 10, Klein. Well protected. Another ball batted down at the line, though. It'll be 3rd down and 10. Jean-Baptiste came with the pressure up the middle.
Well, we saw Georgia Tech last week. They're #1 in offense. It's 600 and some yards. True triple option. We see the spread attack of Baylor this week that's #2. But I said in my focus points, if you're Baylor, Phil Bennett, the defensive coordinator, it's about getting 3rd and long. He has it in 3rd and long right now.
And a timeout called.
The scheme doctor's a little out of rhythm right now. He's not used to calling these 3rd and long plays.
We'll step aside for just 30 seconds while Bill Snyder tries to scheme up 3rd and 10 as best he can. 36 seconds to go in the first quarter. And for the most part, all we've seen is Kansas State's offense on the field. Bob Wischusen and Bob Davey. Halloween's a month away. These guys get a jump start. And here's a big 3rd down and 10 for Kansas State at the 20-yard line.
Normally, I would think this would be quarterback draw, screen, play for a field goal. But I'm not sure Bill Snyder thinks a field goal is enough against a Baylor offense like this.
Klein, pressure coming from the blind side, and that forces the high throw. A good rush from the blind side from Terrence Lloyd. Forced the throw from Klein to float out of the back of the end zone, and here comes the field goal unit.
Yeah, you could see Kansas State pass protection. It's one thing Phil Bennett talked about this week on the conference call. Their offensive linemen, Kansas State's, not real quick-footed guys, not real good at pass protection.
Anthony Cantelli already 5 for 7 on the season, 1 for 1 today. This one from 37 yards out. And he just does sneak it inside the left upright. So Kansas State back-to-back trips deep into Baylor territory with only field goals to show for it. Robert Griffin has barely broken a sweat. His team puts together a like lightning 7-play touchdown drive to open the game. Baylor takes the 7-0 lead. It's been 13 unanswered points for Kansas State since. And Kansas State has had the ball 12 minutes and 10 seconds here in the first quarter. Salubi steps out of bounds at the 22-yard line. It's an effective kick from Anthony Cantelli as he pops it up along the sideline and traps Salubi there. So from his own 23-yard line, now Griffin, with 27 seconds to go in the first quarter, takes over for the 3rd time in the game.
Kansas State pretty much a zone coverage defense. A lot of 2 safety looks back there. Always when you play Baylor, the matchups are those slot receivers on those safeties running down the field on the deep ball. That's something to keep an eye on as this game. Tyson Hartman, Ty Zimmerman, the 2 safeties for Kansas State.
Play clock down to 3. Griffin slings one to the sideline. Lanier Sampson makes the catch, but he is brought down immediately by Nigel Malone. And you would normally think that might take us to the end of the quarter, but Baylor's going to want at least one more snap before the first quarter's over.
Yeah, if that purple team was on offense, we'd be in break right now going to the second quarter, but not the guys in the white uniform.
And they do get one more snap off. Griffin on a keeper. Breaks a tackle. First down Baylor when we start the second quarter as Robert Griffin gets loose. Ty Zimmerman bumped him out of bounds.
And oh yeah, he might be the fastest guy on the field too.
Well, he's got the fastest offense on the field. He found Gerard Monk to start the game for a touchdown, but the answer by John Hubert tied it at 7, and Kansas State has stretched the lead.
Welcome back to Tailgate Week, fired up by Kingsford. College football lives here.
Vegetables on that table. That's not my kind of tailgate experience. Bob Wischusen and Bob Davey watching what you said would be two contrasting styles, and boy, did we see that in the first quarter.
It's really fun to watch. I mean, who can long-term be successful? And the personalities of the coaches, Bill Snyder compared to Art Browse. You said it, contrasting styles in every way, including these two quarterbacks.
Griffin slings one down the sideline, and he has a connection with Kendall Wright. That is good for a Baylor first down into plus territory.
You know, you said it yesterday. You know, you do the NFL game every week with the Jets radio. He throws like an NFL quarterback when you see the ball come out of his hand. I mean, it really spins. He throws a pretty ball.
Again, trying to buy some time. Chased by Arthur Brown. And Arthur Brown does a good job of getting him up against the sideline. David Garrett was there to force Griffin out for a loss of a couple. It'll be second down and 12.
Very few predetermined quarterback runs by Robert Griffin. You're not going to see any, basically. You saw one right before the break there, but his damage is done scrambling. That's the toughest thing on a defense, particularly a zone coverage, staying in coverage when a guy like Robert Griffin scrambles.
Back to the line of scrimmage goes Tevin Reese. It'll be third down and 10. And we've seen several times now that Kansas State has gotten Baylor into the down and distance you want. Third down and long. This will be third and 9.
Yeah, not quite the balance that you've seen in the Baylor offense. Ganaway, not much of a factor. But boy, they're going to test you here. They're going to spread out with 5 wide receivers against this 2-deep look by Kansas State. That's a lot of speed across that field for Baylor.
Kansas State still with their base defense on the field. 5 defensive backs against the 5 wide receivers. They've got a couple of linebackers out there on third and 9. Griffin well protected. He exploits the middle of the field and finds Kendall Wright. Right down the sideline. Can he stay in bounds? Reaches for the pylon, and he's in. Touchdown Baylor. What a play by Kendall Wright. He is number 2 in America in yards per game. Number 3 in average per catch. He has been terrific.
Yeah, the first thing, so much time out of the empty set for Robert Griffin. Let's see if he stayed in bounds. Well, it's going to be reviewed, that's for sure. They blew that extra point dead to have a chance to review it.
Just before the extra point attempt, the replay booth buzzed down, and we will take another look. Again, the ruling on the field was that he stayed in bounds. So there has to be indisputable video evidence to say that he went out of bounds. And boy, it looks like he stayed in bounds the whole way.
That's one of the best plays I've ever seen. You talk about balance, tight roping that sideline. He stayed in bounds. That was an incredible show of athletic ability right there by Kendall Wright. There's not many athletes in the country at any level, Bob, that could have stayed in bounds right there like he did. I mean, look at the lean at the end to extend the football across the pylon. That is a great athletic play by Kendall Wright.
Again, the ruling on the field, a touchdown. So since the precedent was set, you have to have indisputable video evidence to overturn it. And they might say that the play on the field is confirmed, which means that they know, based on replay, that he definitively stayed in bounds. They might say the play on the field stands as called. That basically means that they didn't have a look one way or the other.
Look at the balance.
To overrule.
Go try to do that right there. I'm not you, Bob. I know neither one of us could do that. But what an athletic play. That play's going to stand. I mentioned before the game, I saw him down there. Great lower body strength. Really strong built athlete. About 200 pounds. That was a great show of ability.
Here's the official decision.
Review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
A ruling on the field stands means that no matter what video they looked at in the replay booth, there was nothing one way or the other to overturn the precedent that was set on the field. So Kendall Wright with a touchdown catch. His 8th touchdown catch of the season. Both of the Baylor touchdown drives took only 1 minute and 48 seconds. They are a quick strike offense. And they strike quickly here to take the lead back as Robert Griffin does it again. We've played a little over 16 minutes of football here in Manhattan, Kansas. Kansas State has had the ball for over 12 of the 16 minutes we've played. Robert Griffin's mom has barely seen her little boy out on the field. And yet 2 touchdown drives, each of 1 minute and 48 seconds, and Baylor has the 1-point lead.
Yeah, they're scary. And you can go empty and put 5 wide receivers out there like Baylor. I guess they have 4 guys that run under 4-4 in their receiving corps. To be able to spread that field out and then have Robert Griffin back there at quarterback. That's a pretty good combination of offense.
That's a deep kick that sails out, and they will say it did go through the side of the end zone for a touchback. So Aaron Jones changes things as we check our Pacific Life game summary. And you can see Kansas State with over 12 minutes time of possession, and yet they're down by a point.
Yeah, and you go back to the first one there. They recovered the fumble on the kickoff. They did give up a 50-yard kickoff return on the opening kickoff. So they're 1 for 1 in the kicking game right now. But time of possession, 23 plays. And Robert Griffin really a chance, had a wide open receiver on one of the incompletions.
As the game moves on, do you anticipate Kansas State attacking differently in the red zone? Could they potentially go for it on a 4th down? Does Bill Snyder look at this game as we can't kick field goals and hope to win? Because twice they've gotten down inside the 25-yard line and come away with field goals, and boom, you snap your fingers and Baylor's on top again. Klein under pressure. Sacked. Back at the 7. Gary Mason was there along with Tracy Robertson as we check in with Robert Flores back in Bristol.
Hey, Bob, check out this touchdown catch by Alshon Jeffrey of South Carolina against Auburn. Stephen Garcia up top, and Jeffrey, who has just 1 touchdown catch through the first 4 games of the season, bowls his way into the end zone. Point after was blocked. They lead by 3. West Virginia leading Bowling Green by 7.
Well, Robert backed up inside their own 10-yard line now, Kansas State, after the sack. Hubert at the 5 may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. The ball pops out, but they rule him down by contact. If he picked up a yard, he's lucky. It'll be 3rd down and 22 for Kansas State inside their own 10.
Yeah, that 1st down sack. See the dilemma. Bill Snyder really keeping Baylor off balance more than I thought with the throwing game. He's actually thrown a little bit more than I thought, but the 1st down sack just killed Kansas State, getting them off rhythm.
Previous play is under further review.
Well, they may go upstairs now. They are going to go upstairs to the review booth to see whether or not Hubert was down by contact. I can't imagine there was anything else that they could review, and it is reviewable, fumble, no fumble, if the recovery by the defensive team is indisputable and clear. And it looked as if the only player anywhere near the football was Terrence Lloyd for Baylor, so I'm not sure what else they could be reviewing other than down by contact.
Yeah, we're going to get a chance to see it. I didn't notice anything on the field. His hand was down. He's okay there. What? Was his knee down prior to that ball coming out.
That is very, very close.
That's as close as it gets.
And because Gary Mason knocked it free and Terrence Lloyd recovered it, it would be 1st and goal Baylor inside the 10-yard line if they reverse the call on the field.
It looked to me like the left knee was on top of the Baylor player. The right knee, that ball's out. That ball's out, and that because the left knee is on top of the Baylor player. The right knee is the only one that matters. I mean, it is very close right there. Is that ball out before that knee's down? That is so close.
I think you're right, Coach. I think that's a fumble. Now, again, it has to be indisputable. The precedent set on the field was down by contact. But it looked like there was a crack of daylight underneath his knees as the ball came free.
Yeah,
I think that's a fumble.
That's a thinly defined indisputable. But it looked to me that the ball was out just prior to that left knee touching the ground. And really a remarkable job by this Big 12 crew to see that and be able to review it. This is a major, major turning point potentially in this game right now.
Well, if the football goes back to Baylor, it's 1st and goal. And that is for an offense this year that is 12 of 16 scoring touchdowns in the red zone. So here's the call.
After further review, the runner was down prior to losing possession of the ball. 3rd down.
All right. If I'm a Baylor fan and I'm at home, I'm probably vehemently disagreeing. But that might have been a case where the precedent that was set on the field was the deciding factor, as they apparently did not believe there was indisputable evidence to overturn the call. So now it's 3rd down and a mile. Klein steps up, floats one to the sideline, and it's knocked away. Great hands by Chance Casey. Andre McDonald was the intended receiver. So now Kansas State will have to punt from the end zone.
Yeah, you said great hands by Casey. Crowd wanted pass interference. Might have been tugging a little bit with that right hand. But that's a heck of a play. And Kansas State fortunate just to be able to punt this ball right here and change field position.
Ryan Dorr kicks it away to Kendall Wright. Returnable for Wright from his own 44. Kendall Wright's loose. All the way down to the 36-yard line of Kansas State. So terrific field position for Baylor as they try to build on their lead when we come back to Manhattan. See, now we're talking. That was my kind of tailgate. A cholesterol-busting, artery-stuffing rack of ribs. That was as good as it gets. Baylor back in business. Beautiful day here in Manhattan, but the crowd antsy after the punt return by Kendall Wright sets up Robert Griffin at the 37. They'll keep it on the ground with Ganaway here. Ganaway breaking tackles. He is a load to bring down, and Tyson Hartman finally did. Terrence Ganaway, who began his collegiate career at the University of Houston with Art Briles and this coaching staff, but while he was there, his mom passed away, and it really affected him. He actually left school, and Art Briles called him up and said, "What are you doing? Go back to school. Even if it's a junior college, even if you don't come play for us, get off the couch and go to school." And he followed his advice and ended up at Baylor and put his life back together again. And here he is to about the 31-yard line. He really credits Art Briles and the coaching staff at Baylor for redirecting him after his mom passed away back on the right road.
Yeah, another indication how college football is really a journey. You know, from the starting point to the ending point, you're going to go through a lot of ups and downs. Credit Art Briles. I mean, Ganaway's become a big factor, gives this team balance, which is what they need offensively.
Big opportunity for Kansas State defensively here, though, to try and get Robert Griffin off the field on 3rd and 4. Movement in the line. It'll be a false start.
It's going to be an interesting call right here, though, because Kansas State jumped first.
Ball start. Offense, number 8. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
So now it's 3rd down and 9. Art Briles building this program again around Robert Griffin. And Griffin has put up video game numbers so far this season, as you can see. More touchdowns than incompletions through the first 3+ games, but faced with 3rd down and 9 to try to keep this drive alive at the Kansas State 36. Griffin under pressure. He'll go down. Sacked back at the 38-yard line. Jordan Volker, a former walk-on defensive end, finally brought him down. And Griffin's looking for a helmet contact foul. Now it's 4th down and 11, and it doesn't look like the Baylor offense is coming off the field.
Well, here's what he's complaining about right here at the end of this play. But keep in mind, Griffin's a punter as well. Yeah, that wasn't even close. Griffin had no complaint right there.
We've got a timeout on the field, and we will step aside. 4th down and 11. Will Art Briles go for it when we come back? We'll see. All right, decision time, Coach Davey. 4th and 11 at the +38. Art Briles had his offense on the field when we went away, but now he sends the punting unit out to try and change field position.
Definitely the right decision. I mean, it is, as good as Baylor is on offense, it is 4th and 11. Back Kansas State up. Well, confidence you can get it back. Now, that's not part of the equation right there.
A shank. Spencer Roth shanked it out of bounds. The official still coming up the sideline to about the 24-yard line. Well, that didn't change field position at all. That's a 14-yard punt as we bring you today's Aflac trivia question. Robert Griffin III currently leads the FBS in pass efficiency. Who holds the single-season record? We'll have the answer coming up a little bit later on.
The thing that's interesting about passing efficiency, it has nothing to do with how many times you throw it, how many yards you throw for. It's about who's the most efficient when they throw it. So that really is the best statistic of all when you're judging quarterbacks.
Hubert cuts it back and gets pounded at about the 28-yard line. A gain of 4 on 1st down. Sam Hall came over and made the stop for Baylor.
That little quarterback power read play right there is kind of unique. You see Colin Klein kind of dance with Hubert. Watch as this thing develops. He's going to shuffle with him. He's reading that defensive end. You see the defensive end, 18, stay inside. He hands it. The defense can never really be right if you can just execute it and be patient on offense. Kind of a neat little play.
They run the same play to the opposite direction. And Hubert out across the 30, about 3 yards shy of a 1st down. 3rd and 3 coming up. And with back-to-back wins to start the chase, points leader Tony Stewart goes for 3 in a row, while defending champion Jimmy Johnson looks to bounce back from a surprisingly shaky start. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues at Dover. Coverage begins tomorrow at 1 Eastern on ESPN. NASCAR Countdown presented by Napa.
Yeah, people kind of doubting Jimmy Johnson. I think he'll bounce back this week.
Not you. That's your prediction. You were strong with that prediction when we talked about that and broke the race down last night. 3rd down and 3. They run the option. The toss. Can Hubert get to the 1st down marker? He's a yard shy. What a difference a year makes for this Baylor defense. They bring in Phil Bennett as the defensive coordinator after their defense collapsed down the stretch last season. And he just had his front 7 force a 4th down and 1.
Well, he's about as good a defensive coach as there is in the country, and he's seen about it all. He'll be the first one to tell you they're still a work in progress. I don't think Bill Snyder's going to go for it right here. I think he'll eventually punt the ball.
Yeah, the play clock's down to 15 as it looks like they're going to call a timeout, or maybe he's asking for a measurement to see exactly how far he has to go. But 4th down and 1 inside his own 35-yard line. They're going to bring the chains out just to make it official, so it is an official's timeout. But he's a full yard shy. There's no chance that you go for it inside your own 35-yard line, is there?
This guy's conservative now. I told you that story last night. Last year I did a game here against Texas, and the equipment guy told me about his Nike Cortez coaching shoes that Nike quit making, I think, 7 or 8 years ago. He still wears the same coaching shoes. You see those white Nike Cortezes right here. They actually went online and found like 10 pairs still in existence. So he's going to punt the ball. I mean, this guy's not going to make like a silly decision, a spur-of-the-moment decision, right?
Third punt here in the first half for Kansas State. Ryan Dorr tries to kick it away to Kendall Wright. And this is the hang time you're looking for. Forces Wright into a fair catch. And he goes down to his knees at the 20-yard line. Nearly 5 seconds of hang time and a 47-yard punt for Ryan Dorr. Terrific kick. Time for the answer to our Aflac trivia question. Robert Griffin currently leads the FBS in pass efficiency. Who holds the record? Colt Brennan back in 2006. Well, Robert Griffin III, as you can see, is on pace to shatter Colt Brennan's single season pass efficiency record. And a great job of changing field position a moment ago by Ryan Dorr, the punter for Kansas State. Surprised, Coach, at all that we have seen as many defensive stops as we have here in the first half?
Yeah, what's that been, 5 defensive stops?
We've had 5 punts, and I guess also you'd have to count Baylor holding Kansas State to a field goal a couple of times as well.
Yeah, I think both defenses have stepped up a little bit, but don't blink.
Jordan Ivar, the tight end, catches a little pop pass from Griffin and picks up 8. Emmanuel Lamore made the stop, so it'll be second down at 2.
I think Baylor's going to pick this pace up a little bit. You know, you feel a little bit of a lull right now. They're not used to punting that ball. I think he's going to pick it up and put the pedal down a little bit.
Ganaway on 2nd and 2 moves the chains.
And that's the key. If Baylor can get that north-south running game going, you combine that with those guys that make you nervous out in space like they have, that's when they get the thing really clicking.
Bubble screen to the far side to Tevin Reese. A little cutback. The ball pops out. Kansas State has it again. David Garrett with the recovery.
That one was really close, too. Gonna throw the little bubble out in space. Let's see, was he down? He was losing control of that ball before that knee hit the ground.
Tyson Hartman, free safety for Kansas State, pulled it out. And I'm not even sure that the replay booth is going to rule it necessary to go down and take another look.
I agree.
Although Bill Snyder, he'll give him the maximum opportunity.
Yeah, he's not going to quick snap you now.
Hubert to the 36-yard line, a gain of 3. Terrence Lloyd and Sam Hall combine on the stop.
We talk about stealing possessions. Kansas State has stolen some possessions, 2 of them. The fumble on the kickoff return, which Kansas State recovered, and now this fumble right here where Baylor was picking up the tempo.
And avoided a stolen possession when a very iffy call on whether or not John Hubert was down inside the 10-yard line was ruled to be down by contact, or else Baylor would have recovered a fumble inside the 10. Up the seam, the catch made in stride by Andre McDonald. And the big 6'8" tight end has a first down in the red zone. Gain of 20.
You're going to see the tight end right here just on the little dump pass from Klein. He had a big catch against Miami last week. Boy, Klein threaded the needle there on that one.
Quarterback draw. Klein to the 16. Picked up a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9 after we go back and check in again with Robert.
Hey, Bob, Baylor opened their season with a win against TCU in thrilling fashion. Right now, the Horned Frogs ranked 20th, losing big to SMU. J.J. McDermott to Terrence Wilkerson makes it 14-0. They've added a field goal. It's now 17-0. South Carolina trailing Auburn 9-6 early second quarter.
We got the battle for the Metroplex going on, and we are en route, seemingly so, to another Baylor thriller against Kansas State. Kansas State driving, second down and 9, play clock down to 5. They'll line up and go Wildcat again, but with the play clock winding down, Bill Snyder calls timeout from the sideline. So with Baylor on top by a point, on the road trying to get a win as a ranked team. Another team in a tough spot will be Clemson. Dabo Swinney's 13th ranked Tigers head to Lane Stadium to take on Frank Beamer's Hokies. What a game that should be. That's 6 o'clock on ESPN2, and then over on ESPN at 8 o'clock later on tonight. Tailgate week fired up by Kingsford Charcoal continues. Primetime football presented by Hampton Hotels on ESPN. Notre Dame and Purdue, as Coach Kelly's Irish look for their 3rd straight win.
Well, this really has gone about as perfect as it could go for Bill Snyder. You draw up the script. We met with him yesterday in his office. This is the script he drew up. Baylor's turned the ball over. Kansas State's controlled the tempo for the most part in this game, but you have to get points and you have to get touchdowns. I think this, again, these field goals, you know Baylor's going to come back and score. So they don't need field goals. They need touchdowns right now.
Second down and 9. Klein, all the time in the world. And buying some more time. Across his body at the goal line, incomplete. Underthrew Broderick Smith. Mike Hicks was there in coverage. That sets up 3rd down and 9, and Kansas State in danger of being forced into another field goal attempt if they can't move the chains here. What's your thought process? I mean, if it's 3rd down and 9, at some point do you look at this as 2-down territory simply because you feel like you have to get touchdowns?
No, not the way our defense is playing right now if I'm Bill Snyder. And I don't think that's Bill Snyder's nature. I just try to get the ball right now to Chris Harper, number 3. I try to convert this first down right here on 3rd and 9.
4-man rush. Klein again forced out of the pocket. Klein keeping the play alive and eventually pays the price. Back at the 26, Gary Mason was able to bring him down for the sack, and boy, this turns into a long field goal attempt now for Anthony Catelli.
And we talked about focus points for Baylor. Get Kansas State in 2nd and 3rd and long. Colin Klein is not geared for this. Their offense is not geared for this. Fortunately, it's still a manageable field goal here at 42 yards.
His long this year is 49. And you saw Tevin Reese over on the sideline. He, along with Glasgow Martin, turning the ball over, but both times the defense forces field goal attempts, and this one is going to miss. So that's 2 turnovers for Baylor in their own end, and both times field goal attempts, and it turns out Catelli can only hit 1 of 2.
Yeah, and another win for Phil Bennett and that Baylor defense. I mean, you can see them gaining confidence. He said it's still a work in progress, this defense, but you can see them right in front of our eyes gaining some confidence as they go.
Well, last season, Baylor began the year 7-2. They lost their last 4 games, and they allowed 188 total points in those last 4 losses. And that prompted Art Briles to bring in Phil Bennett and make a change at defensive coordinator. Griffin on first down. This time he wants a big play, and he's got one. Kendall Wright gets loose again. All the way down to the 42-yard line of Kansas State. A gain of 34.
This guy's going to be an NFL quarterback. Robert Griffin. Great mechanics throwing that ball.
Play action fake. He wants the bomb again for Wright. Check that, Tevin Reese. He's got it. Touchdown, Tevin Reese. How accurate a deep ball does Robert Griffin throw?
Talked about the safeties, Tyson Hartman, but when you throw it that accurately, I don't care who the safety is. You know, we said yesterday after watching tape, throws the deep ball as accurately as any quarterback I have ever seen. Looks like they're going to review this.
Previous play is under further review.
I guess they have to check and see whether or not Tevin Reese was in bounds and had control of the football. But if it stands, Robert Griffin, 12 of 14 here in the first half, and he continues to keep that same pace he had coming into today of more touchdown passes than incompletions this year. Here's another look. Obviously, he's in bounds.
That looks like a clear catch to me, and the official had a great, I mean, you can't get a better angle right there to make the call.
Does he control it going to the ground? And it certainly looks like he keeps it off the turf. Again, it has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn it, and the ruling on the field was a touchdown.
That's a touchdown. And you're not going to have any evidence on tape better than the angle of that official has right there looking at that play, and he called the touchdown. But you get a 5'10", 160-pound slot back on a 205-pound safety. That's always the matchup against Baylor. They're sitting there in that 2-by-2 set. But the accuracy of that throw, you saw it against TCU on the Friday night, the first game of the year. You said, you know what, he can't throw it that accurately every week. He's done it.
And if the ruling on the field does indeed turn out to be confirmed, that would be the 7th scoring drive this year for Baylor that took less than 60 seconds.
Yeah, and it's going to be confirmed.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
"16 touchdown passes against 14 incompletions so far this year. And that's inconceivable. And the lead is up to 8 with 3:23 to go here in the first half. Baylor's only had the ball 6 minutes and 45 seconds of the first half, and they've turned it over twice, and yet they still have an 8-point lead, and they've got 21 points on the board.
That's a little frightening, isn't it? But the All-22 is going to show us the dilemma. This is Tevin Reese right here. This is the safety. All he's going to do is run down the field, and it's just going to be one-on-one, a 160-pound slot back on a safety. But look at the throw. That's a 45-yard throw in the air. You couldn't throw it more accurately.
You know what's amazing about Robert Griffin, too? He was recruited by Texas. And obviously he's a Texas football player and ends up going to Baylor. But when he was recruited by Texas, he was recruited as an athlete, quote unquote, not as a quarterback. So the reason he wanted to go and play for Art Briles was Art Briles from the very start recruited him as a quarterback. Originally, he committed to go to Houston when Briles and the coaching staff was there, and he saw how he mentored Kevin Cobb. And when Briles came to Baylor, so did Robert Griffin. Never a doubt he was going to be his quarterback, and he has turned out to be arguably the best in college football. So far this year, hard to argue. David Garrett from the goal line. That was a face mask. It's a great return by Garrett. That's going to put the ball in plus territory. You'll tack 15 yards onto the end of the run, and Kansas State down by 8 will have it
Personal
at
foul.
about the 45-yard line.
Kicking team number 9. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
Well, based on where the ball is spotted right now, that will put the football at the 46-yard line.
That's obvious face mask. And Kansas State special teams is doing what we talked about. They're setting up some potential scores against Baylor. But I go back to that 45-yard touchdown pass by Robert Griffin. He is the best quarterback, in my opinion, in college football right now. And I think he will have a heck of an NFL career. He is a true drop-back passer who can run.
Well, Colin Klein has a chance here before halftime. Throws it behind Chris Harper. Harper makes a very good adjustment to the football and picks up 9 yards. Coming up, we'll have the Cooper Tires halftime report. Only about 3 minutes from now.
Yeah, one thing, as crazy as this sounds, Bill Snyder doesn't want to score too fast. He's thinking right now, listen, we're not going to hurry up. We're going to take this thing all the way down and not give Robert Griffin and Art Browse this ball back.
He'll be sacked for the third time. Lost about 5 yards. That time Tracy Robertson, the senior from Houston, was able to pull him down. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, drop back passing is not TCU's game. You're going to see they're going to come around on a twist stunt right here. They're just not equipped to block those kind of pass stunts. Here we are on another 3rd and 7. The best thing Baylor's done has forced them into obvious passing downs.
First down catch made, though. Nice job by Chris Harper, driving the defensive back just past the chains, and Chance Casey bumps him out after a gain of 10, and that will take us inside of 2:17 to go here before halftime.
And as you watch Colin Klein deliver the ball, you can see he's not a polished passer. I mean, his mechanics, a little bit of a hitch in his delivery. It takes him a long time to get that ball out. But that was a big 3rd down conversion.
Floating one down the sideline for Broderick Smith. He's got it, and there's a flag thrown. Did they rule Smith inbounds? It'll be pass interference against Chance Casey. It looked like Smith may have landed out of bounds. I'm not sure if we ever got the official call of incomplete from the field judge up the left sideline.
I think your point was accurate that he stepped out of bounds.
Well, if they rule it a completion, the completion, I think, would outdistance the penalty.
Defense, number 9. First down on the spot of the foul. First down.
I think they probably ruled that an incompletion, because I thought he caught it out of bounds. But either way, you take a look at the throw down the sideline. Yeah, he's out of bounds right there.
Well, he's way out of bounds. So now it's 1st and 10, and here's Kansas State now, back in the red zone. Colin Klein took a sack that forced a 42-yard missed field goal the last time Kansas State had it in the red zone.
Crowd getting nervous, but they got to be used to this 40-second clock winding down by now.
They run the option. Klein will keep it. A late pitch. Hubert has it go out of bounds. Well, that'll cost them close to 5 yards. Ahmad Dixon came up and bumped Colin Klein as he tried to pitch it late to Hubert.
See the frustration on the fans. When you run the old school option, the zone option out of 2 backs, if that doesn't work, they're going to boo you. Now, you can run the option out of the spread look, and it looks a little more high-tech, but if you run the old school zone option, it better work or they're going to boo you, the home crowd. I don't think Bill Snyder's real worried about that, though.
You think he's past the point in his career where he's worried about the crowd booing?
What he is worried about, these 2nd and 3rd and longs he keeps getting into offensively, though.
Klein, high throw, incomplete over the head of Sheldon Smith. He had Smith open, squaring in at the 10-yard line, and he missed him. Now it's 3rd down and 14. And by the way, they're leaving too much time on the clock for Robert Griffin. Baylor's got all their timeouts. They don't need more than a minute.
Look for twist stunts up front. Baylor with a lot of twisting, trying to force a negative play.
They rush 4. Klein well protected. He's going end zone for Harper, and he's got it. Touchdown, Kansas State.
That's impressive. Colin Klein, an option quarterback, may not have the prettiest delivery, but he stepped up, and credit that offensive line for great pass protection.
Now here's a move I don't necessarily understand. There is a lot of football left to be played, and Bill Snyder down by 2 is going to chase the point. and try and tie the game and go for two. Angelo Pease is the tailback. They'll run it. Pease with a jump pass, and it's knocked away. They tried to go trick play. Sam Hall deflected it, and Bill Snyder and Kansas State chases the point, and they fail to convert, and they're still down by 2.
But why he did it, when you think you have something that's going to work, and you feel very strongly about it, forget about all those issues. They ran the jump pass with the quarterback against Miami. Now this is another version. He's going to hand it to Hubert, who's about 5'6". Excuse me, that's the other tailback, 29. Angelo Pease, who was a quarterback in junior college. But you're right, you end up chasing that point. He could have kicked the extra point and made it a 3-point game, but he's licking his chops because he thought that play would work. But back to the touchdown first. Right before he throws it, I want you to look at the pocket. This is a great job of protection by the offensive line. Look at the window if we freeze it. Look at the window he has in which to throw that ball. So that's a great job of pass protection. Chris Harper, the outside wide receiver on 3rd and 12. Colin Klein staying in the pocket. Big touchdown.
Again, Cantelli tries to angle the kickoff. This time it finds Salubi, and it's returnable. And a pretty good return by Salubi. Out to about the 34-yard line. Plenty of time for Robert Griffin. He's licking his chops with 3 timeouts and a minute and a half.
Yeah, scored too fast.
Hey, the way that Baylor plays, Kansas State might get one more possession.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
But back to the decision to go for 2. The reason, and again, this is me second-guessing Bill Snyder. And first guessing, I guess, before the 2-point conversion. But if you have that go-to play that you love, go to it in the second half when you have to have it at some point. Did they have to have 2 there? Griffin to the sideline. Out of bounds. They'll say an incompletion. Lanier Sampson couldn't come down in bounds with the catch. Nigel Malone was there to bump him out.
See Kansas State in a dime 6 defensive back look. Probably going to try to jam those slot backs a little bit and not let them down the field on those safeties.
Griffin. He's sacked at the 23-yard line. He shot Williams. 3rd sack of the season for Williams.
Good effort move right there by Meshach Williams, coming underneath the offensive tackle.
3rd and 19.
Kansas State with no timeouts right now. Can't stop the clock.
Griffin. And that's well short of the first down. Lanier Sampson picks up about 9 or 10 yards, but
here's where those
it'll be a punt.
Wasted timeouts hurt you, because they're not going to be able to force the punt right here by Baylor.
Well, Kansas State will start the 3rd quarter with the football, so they'll have a chance to take the lead when we begin the second half. And I'm not sure, for Bill Snyder, you could have drawn this up a whole heck of a lot better in terms of time of possession and where the game is at. They've given up some big plays, but can you avoid the big play when you play against Baylor?
That's a great point. It'll be interesting to see. Your point very well taken. If Bill Snyder just kicks that extra point, it's 22-19. It's a 3-point game. Will that 1 point come back and haunt Kansas State as this game progresses? But a very entertaining first half. Everything we thought it could be. Both defenses really hanging in there and getting some stops, maybe more than we expected.
Well, Mark Briles right now, I'm sure, having the safety conversation. It's 2 seconds to go, and it's 4th down. Why would you even punt here? Just snap it to Robert Griffin, have him run backwards for 4 or 5 yards and take a knee.
And you call these career breaker decisions sometimes as coaches. These are the ones that drive you crazy. But I would take it, let Robert Griffin just run out the end of the first half. Certainly don't risk punting the ball.
Would you even throw a Hail Mary here? Would you try a last play? I mean, obviously, he has the arm strength to maybe get it inside the 20-yard line.
Yeah, well, plus the ball will hang in the air, and the half will be over. Sometimes you just drop back and launch it and let the clock run out that way.
Now, if Kansas State were to intercept a Hail Mary, you have to gather yourself and make sure you make a tackle.
You see why they call these career breakers. If something goes wrong right here, you say, okay, why did I do that?
Well, Kansas State has 7 defensive players 25 or more yards from the line of scrimmage. And Griffin takes what's available to Tevin Reese. And Reese eventually is brought down to the 35-yard line.
Should have lateraled it.
So it's a 2-point game at halftime and a great game. And a very entertaining first half here in Manhattan, Kansas. A 2-point lead for number 15 Baylor on the road in the Big 12 opener between Baylor and Kansas State. Now it's time for the Cooper Tire halftime report in just a moment. Welcome back to ESPN on ABC College Football, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Robert Griffin III has a 2-point lead at halftime. Baylor on top 21-19, but we'll take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. Now RG3 is at it again. 220 yards passing, 3 touchdowns in the first half, and yet it's only a 2-point game. Kansas State has Baylor right where they want them, Coach. Is that possible?
I think Kansas State does, from the standpoint of playing that first half about according to script. As Bill Snyder talked about yesterday, Kansas State was 0 penalties, 0 turnovers in the first half. Had 40 plays, I think, to Baylor's 28. So it's going according to plan for Kansas State. The only 2 things, they gave up the kickoff return for 50 yards to start the game. And the second thing for Kansas State from a negative standpoint, too many second and third and long situations, which plays into Baylor's defensive hands.
Although Kansas State got some pressure on Robert Griffin towards the end of the first half as well. A big sack that pushed them into, the down and distance you're talking about that Kansas State needs to get Baylor into, second and third and long themselves.
I think both defenses playing pretty well in the first half. It'll be interesting to see how Kansas State's defense, particularly playing against this high up-tempo attack of Baylor, conditioning. What a role conditioning plays as we move into the fourth quarter. And that's why Kansas State's offense has such a big responsibility to keep that ball.
Playing on the road in the Big 12 is not easy. And number 15 Baylor, their highest rank in the AP poll since 1991. In their Big 12 opener, Baylor is 4-11 all-time in Big 12 openers and 0-7 on the road. So if they win today, that would be a first. Kansas State starts the second half with the football, and David Garrett brings it out from 3 yards deep. And only manages the 18-yard line. All right, now our weekly feature, the locker room alert, coming out at halftime.
I think only one thing really jumped out at me, and it's Kansas State on defense. When you get a slot back matched up on a safety, you have to move that nickel back out and collision that slot back. You cannot let that slot back run down the field on that safety. And it's not as easy as it looks, because you sacrifice a little bit in the run game, but you can't let those slots one-on-one on the safety.
Klein buys what he can, and he's loose. Klein down the sideline. Out of bounds inside the 20.
Well, you can see why Colin Klein averages 22 carries a game. This one's a pass play. All he does is create a play on his own, pulls the ball down. That's a tailback playing quarterback. Not breakaway speed, but for a guy 6'5", 225 pounds, he runs pretty good.
Third best rushing quarterback in the nation through the first 3 weeks. He's averaging over 100 yards a game rushing. This time he gives it to Hubert. Hubert breaks the tackle. He's down to about the 12-yard line. 3 yards shy of a first down. It'll be 2nd down and 3 as Kansas State tries to take the lead on this opening possession of the second half.
What a big game for Hubert. Out of Waco High School. Broke LaDainian Tomlinson's records there in high school. Now he comes up here to Kansas State. We met with him yesterday. His buddy's in town. from Waco. Nothing like playing against your hometown school.
Wildcat. Colin Klein to the top of your screen. Angelo Pease back in to take the direct snap. Cuts it back up inside and walks into the end zone with a K-State touchdown.
Right here, the tailback. He's going to get an excellent block. It's the quarterback power. Right there, Hubert gets the kick-out block. And Angelo Pease, the JC quarterback, who's now a running back. That didn't take long.
I was going to say, Bill Snyder channels his inner Art Briles as K-State steals a page from Baylor's playbook. In less than 90 seconds, they go down the field and score a touchdown. And they've got the 5-point lead. Angelo Pease with his first rushing touchdown of the season. K-State's on top. Back here in Manhattan, Kansas State scored so quickly the artillery squad wasn't ready. The whole crowd was looking over to the bluff to our left, looking for those cannons to go off when Angelo Pease crossed the goal line. They're not used to 90-second touchdown drives here in Manhattan. Those guys are used to having about 12 plays and 9 minutes of game clock to load up. They were reloading their gunpowder as Bill Snyder's offense pushed it across to take the lead. And a short kickoff. Long run for Salubi up against the sideline. There's a mistake. That will give Baylor the ball out at their own 40-yard line. So great field position for Robert Griffin.
First down, 40-yard line.
That's twice. You know, the kickoff return to open the game, and now the kickoff out of bounds. Sometimes you get a little too cute.
So now we see the response for Baylor. And an offense that's on a record-setting pace. Number 1 in the Big 12 and number 2 in the country in total offense. Number 1 in the Big 12 in scoring. And number 3 in the country at over 51 points a game. But they find themselves trailing in their Big 12 opener as the number 15 team in the country on the road here in Manhattan. Griffin with a pump fake.
Got him.
He'll try and turn the corner. And he's to midfield. Has a first down as he steps out of bounds with a 12-yard gain to the Kansas State 48. Arthur Brown chased him as best he could, but that guy's tough to catch.
3 things about this Baylor offense: tempo, balance, and in his ability to make the deep throw. Those 3 things. It all starts with this tempo.
Batted ball. Almost intercepted. Nigel Malone is number 1 in the Big 12 and number 2 in the country through the first 3 weeks of the season with 3 interceptions, and he almost got a pick 6 for number 4.
Yeah, junior college transfer, City College of San Francisco. First season here in Manhattan. Another junior college corner up at the top, Alan Chapman, number 3.
David Garrett, number 27, covering the slot to the top of your screen. He was a linebacker last year and led K-State in tackles for loss. Draw play. Ganaway breaks a tackle. It'll be 3rd down and 2 at the 40-yard line of Kansas State.
This guy here is the guy I think needs to come on in the second half. Get him going on the north-south running game, which really opens up those play-action passes for Baylor.
3rd and 2. Glasgow Martin in the game in place of Ganaway to the right of Griffin. He takes the handoff. Martin's up the middle with a first down. As much as Baylor spreads you out, as high tempo as their offense is, how hard is it for a front 7 to be prepared on 3rd down and short for that? The downhill run from the big heavy ball, heavy back.
And they have the quarterback keep off of them. So
there's the quarterback keep. Griffin looking end zone. In stride, a touchdown. Who else? Kendall Wright. And Griffin took a shot. He delivers his 4th touchdown pass of the day, and he's slow to get up.
Well, there's your play action pass. Mom checking that out. But I'll tell you, does anybody throw the deep ball as accurately as Robert Griffin? But the play action pass again gets one-on-one coverage on Kendall Wright.
How about the answer from Baylor? 2 touchdowns in the first 2.5 minutes of the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, here's your play action fake. Now you're going to get Kendall Wright. Look at the accuracy of that throw. I mean, on the money.
He took a shot as well. They've got some professional tailgaters here in Manhattan, but a young man that, when he chooses to, will be a professional quarterback at the next level, because Robert Griffin, 4 touchdown passes against 4 incompletions today, which means he's still 1 ahead of the curve. He's up to 17 touchdowns and 16 incompletions on the season. That is inconceivable. And by the way, 17 touchdowns and no interceptions so far this year. And Garrett will settle for the touchback as we take a look at the pass chart, the work done so far today by Griffin. He spreads it around, and he is efficient everywhere.
Well, we talked about, again, the difference to me is here, the deep accuracy he has. And I don't even think of him as a running quarterback. I remember when I first saw him play his freshman year against Connecticut on television, I said he's going to be a great running spread-style quarterback. I don't even think of him that. I think of him as a drop-back NFL-style quarterback. That's how far he has come as a passer. And give Art Browse and that offensive staff credit. I mean, they have designed an offense that takes advantage of all these weapons.
Play action for Colin Klein. He wants the big play. No one open downfield. Tries to feed Harper on a comeback route. And it's incomplete, out of bounds. Sets up 2nd and 10 after we check in with Robert Flores.
Hey, Bob, you talk about RG3. Well, here's another good performance from another quarterback. Illinois quarterback Nathan Shieldhouse, 391 yards passing. That's a career high. 4 touchdowns total in a come-from-behind win against Northwestern. He's an AT&T All-America Player of the Week nominee. Text VOTE to 55862 for a chance at a trip to the national championship.
All right, Robert, thanks very much. Quarterback draw, Colin Klein. Out to about the 25-yard line, at least 4.5 yards shy of a first down. Sam Hall came up and made the stop, so it will be 3rd down and a long 4, close to 5.
Yeah, the big tight end comes back in the game for Kansas State at about 6'8". Has become a bit of a weapon right here.
Four-man rush on 3rd down. Klein is able to beat that front 4 and deliver a strike to Andre McDonald. Brought down by Hall and Coffey for Baylor, but that's a 3rd down conversion for Kansas State.
Well, they tried to make Andre McDonald an offensive tackle at 6'8". He's hung on to that belief that he's a tight end. Had a couple catches against Miami, a couple more today. That's a great motivator. When you say, listen, if you drop a ball, you're going back to offensive tackle, those tight ends will step up now. He didn't want to move back inside.
Here's the Wildcat look again. Angelo Pease this time tries to follow his blockers left and gets tripped up. It's a really nice play by Terrence Lloyd to disrupt Pease and bring him down after a gain of 2.5. Only a sophomore from Houston, Terrence Lloyd, makes the stop. And they'll leave Pease in the game. So both Pease and Hubert in on 2nd down and a short 8 just across the 35.
Going Wildcat again. You know eventually there's a pass with Angelo Pease off that quarterback power.
Klein is the slot man, the quarterback to the bottom of your screen. There's a lane again for Pease. He's got a 1st down. It's being called one of the best news shows of the season and America's new Sunday addiction. The sky's the limit for the globe-trotting adventurers of ABC's Pan Am. Tomorrow night at 10/9 Central on ABC.
You can tell why we call Bill Snyder the scheme doctor. He's scheming up those little wildcat runs. That was an excellent blocked play, that last play.
They're not taking the play clock down nearly as deep as they were earlier in the game. Another deflection at the line. Gary Mason was able to get that one. We talked a lot in the first half about how it's constantly come up, check at the line, look over to the line to the sideline, maybe change the play clock down inside of 5 before they snap it. For the most part in the second half, they've been snapping it seems, with more between 10 and 15 seconds on the play clock.
Yeah, I think maybe in the wildcat, they're predetermined runs where you don't check as much. And on some of these passes, there aren't as many checks.
Line on the keeper. The belly option works to perfection. And Klein has another Kansas State first down. A gain of 13 more for Colin Klein.
Here's the other play, the zone read where they truly reads the defensive end. The defensive end closes down inside and the quarterback keeps it. But again, watch the fullback come around as the extra blocker right there. Scheme doctor. He's gonna scheme you. That's an excellent little variation right there with that fullback becoming the extra blocker on the zone to side play.
Line to the sideline. Harper scoops it up. Another catch for Chris Harper and a gain of nearly 7 yards on first down.
What surprises me is how much they're throwing the ball on first down, Bill Snyder. I didn't think he would throw it this much. Klein gaining a lot of confidence. Probably more importantly, Bill Snyder gaining confidence in Klein, his ability to throw it.
Well, Klein came into today only averaging about 110 yards passing per game, but 4 touchdowns against only 1 interception. He's thrown a couple of touchdown passes today. And he's up over 125 yards passing in this game. Again on the keeper. And Klein fights for about a half yard. It'll be 3rd down and 3 at the +35 for Kansas State. We wanted to look at how deep they would take it on the play clock before snapping the ball, Coach. Here it is.
Yeah, interesting. You look at Kansas State. Average time on the play clock when that ball is snapped.
They were taking it pretty deep in the first half, not nearly as deep in the second half. 10th play of the drive. Now they take it down inside of 5. Klein cuts it back up inside, and he's got a first down. Boy, he takes a beating, doesn't he?
He does. We met with him yesterday. That's the first thing we told him. What'd you say? Don't be afraid to slide. Don't be afraid to run out of bounds.
I do games on Sunday in the NFL, and boy, it took about a year for the Jets to teach Mark Sanchez to get on the ground and not get killed. And well, he doesn't ever take a slide. Sometimes, you know, avoid valor, be a little less courageous, and not take a pot. But he fights for every yard. And that's what he said. He said every yard's precious.
Exactly. And he's the tailback in this offense.
Hubert with a cutback to the 26-yard line. A gain of 5 more for Kansas State. It'll be 2nd down and 5.
See how he schemes against these defensive ends. It's just another form of running option. You know, it looks different because it's out of the shotgun, but he slows those defensive ends down so much because just about every play, they're reading the defensive end one way or another.
Hubert shakes his way up the middle. Dropped about 2 yards shy of the first down, so again, 3rd down upcoming for Kansas State, but more the down and distance. We talked about it being crucial before the game began that they need to get it to 3rd down and less than 4.
And this is the perfect drive. You know, that first drive of the second half, they scored in about 1 minute and 30 seconds because of the big play.
That's not what Bill Snyder wants.
Yeah, this is perfect right here. You can see how tight their splits are down in there on that offensive line. I mean, they're about shoe to shoe packed in there.
3rd down and 2. Hubert has the first down and more. Out of bounds at the 15. They'll mark him out inside the 14-yard line. There's a flag down, though, back at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, there was holding by the fullback. I know Braden Wilson tackled the outside linebacker on that play.
Holding. Offense, number 37. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
Yeah, that was an obvious one right there. This kid's a good player.
First penalty against Kansas State.
Yeah, you're going to see him all the way. Just watch 37. He's going to hook him right there. I mean, if you're going to get one, I guess you get one like that, right? I mean,
make it count.
Make it count.
He did.
But
so now it's 3rd down and 12.
Exactly. This be a 51-yard field goal from right here.
The safeties for Baylor, not all that deep. Flying under pressure. Floats it right, underthrown and intercepted. Picked off at the 21-yard line. Sam Hall was tripped up, and that's a terrific tackle by Chris Harper. I'm not sure if he meant to tackle Sam Hall, but he got him on the ground. If he doesn't tackle Sam Hall, Hall might go.
You're going to watch again the evolution of a young quarterback with Colin Klein. He's going to take this thing. He really thinks about taking off and running right here. Just a 4-man rush, 7-man drop. He pulls up, just floats it out there. You go back to the holding penalty by Braden Wilson. Sets up that 3rd and long where they have to throw it. Probably took away a field goal opportunity. The holding penalty as much as the interception did.
Baylor a little late to get on the field as the play clock is down to 10. But Griffin has them set. Pulls one back from Ganaway, shoots it up the seam, and he's got his man, Kendall Wright again. Kendall Wright, well over 100 yards receiving in the game, out to the 44-yard line.
That's the best thing Baylor does. That play-action pass, and it's not a bootleg. It's a drop-back play action. You get those linebackers to jump up and throw behind them.
Pops one off to Monk on the near side, and the tight end brought down in plus territory, about 4 yards shy of a first down. Trey Walker and Nigel Malone combine on the stop, and Walker, the man who made the big stop of Ja'Cory Harris on 4th down and goal to preserve the K-State win in Miami last week, was the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week. As a result, only a sophomore, but it's tough for him to make plays against this Baylor offense. 2nd and 3. Ganaway, first down.
Great combination of inside, north-south running with Ganaway. And the thing Griffin does on those play actions, he really holds the ball in the belly of the running back. He's really a good ball handler.
Play action for Griffin. Extending the play, simply lost the football. He dropped it. And a flag comes out. That'll be a late hit against Kansas State, jumping on top of Robert Griffin after the referee will rule that the play was over. And that will be a killer penalty for Bill Snyder's team. Instead of it being 2nd down and 21.
Personal foul.
It'll be a first down.
Defense number 50, 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
You said it. That's a killer. That's a killer.
Now, in any way, can you cut some slack to Trey Walker for thinking with the ball on the ground the play might still be alive?
Let's take a look at it and see. Griffin needs to hold that ball in tighter to his body first.
And the play's dead there.
Nah, you got to call it. I mean, you have to make it. Obviously, Robert Griffin had recovered that ball. I think that's a good call.
Griffin on first down. Looks to throw the deep ball back to the left side to Reese. Incomplete.
Again, Reese on that safety. Comes down to playing those deep balls in the air if you're Kansas State.
Boy, it's news again when Robert Griffin fails to complete a pass. Even one where he's trying to throw a 40-yard bomb.
They're right back at you, too. I mean, conditioning on defense, such a major part of this game.
Griffin, quarterback draw. And he is flipped down at the 36-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 6. David Garrett, at only 5'8", came up to make the stop. Now tension for the Baylor offense, attention for mom and dad as well.
Yeah, this may be 2-down territory right now. 3rd and 6. A lot of options for Art Browse right now on this 3rd down.
The blitz picked up. Terrific open field hit though on the tight end Monk. Tyson Hartman came up to make the stop after a gain of a yard. It is 4th down and a little under 5, and a decision for Art Browse.
I think he'll go for it here. You know, it's going to be 3rd and what, about 4?
From right here, you're looking at about a 51, 52-yard field goal. The long for Aaron Jones is 50. Earlier on this season set a Baylor record, but they're going to go for it. Griffin on 4th down, flips one off his back foot for the end zone. Leaping, laying out, making the catch for the touchdown is Kendall Wright. Are you kidding me?
Talk about dynamic pass-catch combinations. Put Robert Griffin, Kendall Wright at the top of the list in this country. That was a 4th down and 4. They're going to review that. That was incredible.
They're going to make sure that Kendall Wright made a clean catch.
Really on the field. Touchdown.
That's an amazing catch.
Further review.
You can't see the ball there.
Boy, it looked like he had the ball secure just as he turned over right there. That's an incredible play by Kendall Wright. You take the 2 highlight plays of him today, when he tiptoed the sideline on his first touchdown, and that play right there, that's as good of 2 athletic plays as you're ever going to see. I think that play stands as a catch.
The only chance that Kansas State has is that last look we showed you of the 3 looks, that maybe you can make an argument that the ball hit the ground as he went to the turf. But again, it has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field, and the precedent set on the field was a touchdown. Let's take another look. Again, this is the only look that we have, I think, where you can see the football.
Yeah, his hand.
It's wrapped pretty securely around that ball.
I just don't think you can overturn that call. More importantly to me, though, the effort of Kendall Wright laying out on that ball and the accuracy again on that throw by Robert Griffin.
On 4th down and 5, they go for the downs.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
So not only when they say the ruling on the field is confirmed does that mean it's a touchdown, but they're saying replay shows indisputably that the right call was made. Another touchdown catch for Kendall Wright. He's got 5 100-yard games in a row dating back to last year's Texas Bowl. Only Justin Blackman and Wright in the Big 12 have even 3 100-yard games this season. And it's 35-26. Baylor on top in the Big 12 opener here in Manhattan. In the Big 12, there's some pretty good quarterback to wide receiver combinations. Based on what we've seen today, this might be the best. Griffin to Wright.
I don't think you could be any better. I mean, the 2 athletic plays by Kendall Wright. Let's look at the touchdown. Our locker room alert, we talked about getting the safety on the slot with no help. Nobody jamming him. This is Tyson Hartman again on Kendall Wright. But more importantly, just the pretty pass and catch. That's a tough matchup. If you're Kansas State, you cannot ask that safety with no help underneath, rerouting that receiver to cover Kendall Wright down that seam.
Yeah, certainly plenty of headlines dedicated so far this year in the Big 12 to, say, Jones to Broyles or Whedon to Blackman. I mean, there's some great wide receiver quarterback combinations in the Big 12, and somehow that kickoff stays in bounds. Garrett, does he get waffled at the 17-yard line, and a flag comes out. That'll be helmet to helmet, and I think that's a good call. That'll be a personal foul. Right now Baylor celebrating the hit, but that'll be 15 extra yards, as Brody Trahan, I believe, is the player that's going to get called for the penalty.
Illegal block below the waist. Kicking team, number 22. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
All right.
That's an interesting call right there. The kicking team gets penalized for blocking below the waist. What happens on the kickoff team covering? Sometimes guys will come in and chop people that are trying to block them. You see right there, that's a great replay of number 3 coming in, Dimitri Goodson, and blowing up that wedge in front of him. You can't do that. So blocking below the waist isn't just for the offensive team, it's also the defensive team.
Klein turns the corner. Very close to a first down. It looks like he has a first down as we take a look at today's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate. And this takes us back to the other amazing play made earlier in the game by Kendall Wright.
As good as that last touchdown was, I like this even better. The balance and then the effort to extend that ball across the byline. You see why they sell Floyd Casey Stadium out. It's fun to go watch these guys play. I hope they're selling Floyd Casey Stadium out.
Klein off a play action fake and has to throw that one away. He takes a shot as the pressure was coming from Nicolas Jean-Baptiste. Crowd was looking for a flag on the hit by Jean-Baptiste. It'll be second down and 10.
The crowd kind of thinking Robert Griffin gets some preferential treatment, I think, with the officials' calls. But I think that was a good penalty on Walker on that fumble by Griffin. Again, Kansas State throwing it around on first down more than I anticipated, putting them in these passing downs.
Klein well protected, low throw, tipped at the line. It was intended for Tyler Lockett. It'll be third down and 10. And let's also remember, we've got a 2-possession game now. And the reason we've got a 2-possession game is because before halftime, when it was 21-19, Bill Snyder went for 2. At a time in the game, I think, Coach, again, you can make an argument it was too early to chase that point, and now his team is faced with third and 10, and they're down by 2 scores.
Well, the other reason is a 2-score game. Klein threw the interception in the last series where they had a field goal opportunity.
False start. It'll be third and 15.
Offense, number 87, 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
The momentum right now, obviously heading to Baylor. That's why I'm surprised a little bit they threw it again on first down. You know, the best way to take the momentum away on Baylor is to run the ball and keep it away from them a little bit more. All about pass protection. Baylor's going to rush 4 right here.
Klein up the seam for Smith, and it's knocked away. Great coverage by Chance Casey. He had Broderick Smith blanketed. It'll be fourth down, and Kansas State will have to punt.
You know, Chance Casey's had a good day. He's got his hands on some throws. Played very well out there at corner.
He's the experienced guy in their secondary. They're down what they would consider 2 starting level corners in Tyler Stevenson and Taswani Copeland, both injured. They thought they were going to get Stevenson back for this game. He had a high ankle against TCU. He's still hurt. Pretty good kick by Ryan Dorr. Fair catch made at the 26-yard line. And tonight, the 8th-ranked Cornhuskers, their first game in the conference. Welcome to the Big Ten. You got to go to Madison in prime time and take on number 7 Wisconsin. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines, part of Tailgate Week, fired up by Kingsford Charcoal at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. Taylor Martinez tonight, you think he has what it takes to win in prime time in Wisconsin?
You know, this is what you pictured, right? When Nebraska went to the Big Ten. These kind of matchups like tonight in Madison.
Griffin again finds Kendall Wright. And that, I think, is going to put Kendall Wright right at 200 yards receiving in the game.
The other thing about Robert Griffin, quick release. I mean, it doesn't take him long to get rid of that ball.
In the flat to Jordan Iver.
There's another
the tight end's got a first down.
See how quickly he gets the ball out of his hand. You know, it doesn't take him long to load that thing up. And that's one of the most important things. I mean, you combine that with the deep ball accuracy. I mean, I know everybody says Andrew Luck is by far the #1 NFL quarterback. What about this guy? I mean, if I guarantee you he's an NFL quarterback.
And remember, Griffin is only a junior. It's a decision that he hasn't made yet, apparently, and I'm not sure how many people up until now have even asked him. They'll run it here up the middle to Ganaway. I mean, to me, at this point, Griffin has established himself. He had a good year last year. 22 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 67%. He was good. This year, he's been off the charts. That's a backwards pass. Kendall Wright wants to tee it up. And instead, he'll throw it backwards and throw it away. I think you can make an argument that Wright, in an effort to throw it away, threw it backwards himself. This could be about a 12, 13-yard loss.
I think that's a great call, Bob. That ball was thrown backwards.
Incomplete forward pass. Quarterback was getting hit during the pass. Third down.
Was that ball traveling forward when Wright threw it out?
I think the ruling is because he was being hit as he threw it. It doesn't matter.
If the ball goes backwards, the ball goes backwards.
They set up the double pass. You know, Kendall Wright's thrown 3 passes this year, I believe. He wasn't being hit when he threw that either.
He was at about the 33-yard line when he let it go.
Intentional grounding, right? Because he's inside the tackle box. And that was at least intentional grounding.
After all is said and done, sets up 3rd down and 6 unless they review.
I think they can review as a
ruling on the field, the quarterback was hit during the pass, making the ball go backwards. The previous plays under further review.
Yeah, he wasn't hit. Yeah, he wasn't hit.
Violet-Sui, defensive tackle for Kansas State, was at least the player that was in position to hit Kendall Wright.
Yeah, it was close.
I guess here's my question. Even if he is getting hit, if the ball travels backwards, it travels backwards. He's at the 33-yard line or so when he lets it go. Now, where does this ball sail out? This ball goes all the way back to the 30-yard line, maybe inside the 30-yard line by the time it goes out of bounds.
There it is. I mean, that's as perfect. It's the 29.5-yard line. That's where that ball is going to be marked.
But to me, I don't know what the relevance is of whether or not he is being hit. If he throws it backwards and the ball travels backwards, then it's a live ball.
I think that's a great thing about replay. Even though it slows the game down, they'll eventually get that right. But the ball clearly was thrown backwards, and it's going to be at the 29.5-yard line.
Now, if they do indeed back it up that far, it'll be instead of 3rd down and 6.
The ruling on the field, the passer was hit during the pass. By rule, that is not reviewable. The contact made the pass go backwards. 3rd down.
I'd like to see it again. I'm not sure the contact made the pass go backwards.
And they're saying that it wasn't that the ball traveled backwards, that the player hit him and that he hit the ball, I guess, and deflected it backwards. That's a horrible call. And that's not even close. They're going to say that whether or not Violet-Sui made contact with that ball, forcing it backwards, is a judgment call and not reviewable. Violet-Sui came nowhere near that football. So after all is said and done, it's 3rd down and 6.
The great thing, the Big 12 replay officials are right next door. This next stop in action, we're going to go over and ask them and get that clarified for everybody.
This is a free play for Griffin. He's brought down about 3 yards shy of the 1st down, but it's going to be offsides against Kansas State. Adam Davis jumped early.
Offsides. Defense, number 42.
Check that. Nishak
penalty.
Williams jumped
Third
early.
down.
So it'll still be 3rd down, but now it's 3rd down and 1.
The only thing I'll say about Robert Griffin, I noticed this against TCU. When he goes down, when he's hit, it's like you hold your breath every time and wondering if he's going to get up. You know, he's a big physical guy, but it's surprising a little bit. Every time he goes down, it's like he's going to stay down.
Ganaway's the lone setback on 3rd and 1. They'll run it. And Ganaway very close to the 1st down. If he has it, he might not have it by more than half the football. He might be short, and it might only be by inches, and it'll set up a very interesting decision for Art Briles. Is it the nose of the football? It is. By no more than 2 or 3 inches is Baylor short of the 1st down. Just barely on their side of the 50-yard line, up in a 2-possession game by 9 points. Will Baylor go for it?
Conventional wisdom, you punt it right here. Up 2 scores, but this is not a conventional offense by any stretch. They'll at least try to draw Kansas State offsides. I know that.
Last time it was 4th down, they threw a bomb.
Yeah, that was 4th and 5 at 35-yard line. Interesting, though, Robert Griffin also a punter. So you can put him back there in that shotgun look. Depending on what coverage, what front you get, just check to a punt. It's a tough call. It's a gut call is what it comes down to.
The officials are going to go to replay again. This might be a challenge
of the spot
by Baylor. Art Briles might be using his coach's challenge to challenge the spot. So we'll go to the replay booth again. As best we can if we can see the football. Our 1st down line obviously is not an official marker of whether or not he gets the 1st down. He's certainly got to cross our yellow line.
And again, this is a coach's challenge by Art Briles. Art Briles obviously had a real good angle and wishful thinking over there on his sideline. But it's a coach's challenge, not a booth challenge, as every play is replayed in the booth. No real great looks at that.
Obviously, you're not going to get a definitive look at it from an end zone camera. So this is one more look. His knee is down, then he reaches the ball out. It's where the football is when he's down by contact, and the officials ruled that he was about 2 inches shy. Here's the official decision.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. 4th down. Baylor's charging the timeout. Baylor has no further challenges for the game.
So it will be 4th down and no more than a couple of inches. Now going back a couple of reviews ago, the biggest moment in this game, at least from a review standpoint, whether or not Kendall Wright threw a backwards pass. If a ball is tipped, that is reviewable. What they said wasn't reviewable was whether or not the pass was forced backwards by the player being hit. That's a judgment call. So that's the delineation. And it looks like they will line up to at least seemingly go for it. And a sneak by Griffin, and he's got the 1st down. No hesitation.
Difference between an offensive coach and a defensive coach. Art Prowse is the offensive coordinator. He's the head coach. Defensive coach probably would have punted that right there. It all comes down to who the head coach is.
Is that code for Bob Davie would have punted right there?
No, you know, with this offense and the flow of this game, I can understand completely why he would.
Here's Salubi. He picks up about 8 yards. Into plus territory. It'll be 2nd down and 2 for Baylor, and that might take us to the end of the 3rd quarter.
Same little quarterback read power play that Kansas State runs so successfully.
So that will do it for the 3rd quarter here in Manhattan. Kansas State trying to hang on for dear life and stay in this game with Baylor. But the explosiveness of the Baylor offense has been the difference. And the explosion of Kendall Wright. What a day he has had. That, one of the catches of the year so far in college football. And it's a 35-26 Baylor lead. Set for the start of the 4th quarter. One Kansas farmer feeds more than 128 people. And me, I think I do more than my fair share. I might dispute that math. But we are surrounded by farmland in a little college town that is Manhattan, and they are making a lot of noise as we start the 4th quarter, trying to keep their team in it. Up the middle goes Terrence Ganaway.
One thing you notice about all these stadiums, the home field is always on that shaded side, and the visitors always staring right into that sun. Look over there at Baylor. They've got that sun right in their face while Kansas State's in the shade.
Big play on 3rd down. Ganaway dropped. Arthur Brown was the first man there. Now it's 4th down and 1.5 yards, and it looks like Baylor, without hesitation, is lined up to go for it again.
Boy, the question, you know they're going for it?
Maybe not.
This would surprise me here. It looks like they're going to...
Now they're in plus territory, but it doesn't look like the call's automatic.
You would think it would be automatic, and the question becomes, does he have a play-action pass and try to get the home run off this short yardage situation?
It looks like he's going to take the game clock all the way down and call timeout. Milk some time off the clock in a 2-possession game.
And this is a legitimate yard compared to the last one was shorter, but you would think he would go on this one.
We'll see if Baylor goes for it when we come back. Another coaching decision to be made now. Baylor on top, 35-26. It's 4th down and at least 1.5 yards. At the plus 42-yard line, Art Briles let the game clock wind all the way down and spent a timeout. And he is sending his offense back out there to try and go for it on 4th and 1.5 yards. Baylor is 2 for 2 on 4th down today.
The same power formation that he ran the sneak out of. Look at that.
Direct snap to Ganaway, and he's very close. Griffin faked over to the sideline as if he was confused by the play call, and while he backed up, they direct snapped it to Ganaway, and it looks to be good for a 1st down.
Pretty clever, but you're glad it worked. Anytime you try a little deception like that on short yardage, pretty good little play design. Now watch Robert Griffin, Bob, like you said, walk away like he doesn't get the signal. Direct snap to Ganaway. Are they going to review that spot?
On the field as a player went past the line to gain. Previous plays under further review.
Wow. We're getting a little carried away on these reviews right now.
We're setting a record today.
I mean, at some point, right?
Although on these kinds of calls, and this is a game-changing call, I mean, this is the equivalent of either a 1st down or almost a turnover. To get it right, it's probably worth making sure.
Can't see much, but as it happened live, and we have a great angle here, I didn't think there was any question he made it. It was close.
You can't see the football.
Yeah, his knees were never down.
And he only needed to get to the 40.5 yard line. He didn't need to get to the 40 to pick up the 1st down.
Right.
The marker was probably halfway between the 41 and the 40, and it looks as if where they have it spotted is correct, and that would have been a 1st down. I mean, they marked 1st down without measurement.
You know, it's amazing how spotting that football, particularly in big piles, is such an inexact science. But when you go back and watch the tape, they usually get it right. It really is amazing how they come in and get that thing marked.
Stands. First down.
So it is a first down for Baylor. Well, no question. That might be the most exact science that there is in sports. You get these guys from the sideline. They're a good 30 yards away from the football. There is this pile of 300-pound guys all over a ball carrier, and they run in, grab the ball, and stab it on the ground like they knew exactly where it was supposed to go the whole time.
Every time Kendall Wright lines up, regardless of down and distance, you better ID him if you're Kansas State.
Griffin keeps it, and he's inside the 35, picking up about 6 on first down, maybe 7. Jordan Volker tripped him up. Second down and a short 4.
One of the few true quarterback runs you're going to see out of Robert Griffin.
Keeping his feet and picking up the first down is the tight end Gerard Monk.
You know, one of the advantages pro coaches will tell you, the play action game with the quarterback under center is one of the big advantages. You put the quarterback under the center because you have a play action off the run. They have a great play action game out of the shotgun there.
Salubi hurdles a man and picks up nearly 6 more. Arthur Brown made the stop, but rarely does Baylor do a good job of working on the clock. They strike like lightning sometimes, but they're working on the clock pretty effectively here.
Starting to get that running game going right now. That's what you feel.
Salubi brought down at the line. 3rd down and 4 coming up. Arthur Brown made the stop. Holding Baylor to a field goal here would be a huge factor potentially for Kansas State if we look forward.
Look at the players coming on and off the field for Baylor.
Griffin with a pitch. It's loose. Picked up on a hop by Ganaway. And he's brought down back at the 30. Now it's 4th and 10.
Well, good call right there, Chris Kosh. They ran that zone option right into the teeth of the blitz. Kansas State brought the nickel back, and they ran right flat into the middle of the thing.
So they'll bring out Aaron Jones to try what is far from a gimme. A 47-yard field goal attempt to try and make it a 2-touchdown lead. As long as 48 so far this year, and he's been perfect. No chance. It's still a 2-possession game, but Baylor comes away empty. Still a lot of football to be played here in Manhattan.
Time to take an innovative look at the Wisconsin ground attack, brought to you by AT&T. If you're talking Badgers, you're talking rushing. Here the middle linebacker fills the wrong gap, and the Wisconsin offensive line creates an enormous hole for running back James White. But the play is really made by second-level blocking. Nick Toon springs White with a key block. Later in the run, White gets another block from a wide receiver and goes in for the score.
This innovative look is brought to you by AA.com/Buick and Allstate. Shop less, get more. Make one call to an Allstate agent.
Well, the only folks that have had more fun than these guys before the game was Bob Davie and myself, Bob Wischusen, during the game. 35-26 in what has been a really entertaining Big 12 opener between Baylor and Kansas State, and now Kansas State back to the offense after they got the stop on defense.
And I think they have to get back to running the ball on first down.
They'll throw it instead. Klein on a rollout, flips it down the sideline over the head of Harper, and almost intercepted by K.J. Morton.
Hit on the quarterback right here.
Flag thrown.
Look at the call. Really surprised how much they're throwing it, Bob, on first down. I mean, that's really not their game. That's big.
That's Ahmad Dixon.
Boy, that was a big, big penalty. But, you know, it's just a 9-point game. Kansas State can win this game by just staying in their offense. And that's, to me, running the ball on first down.
Kansas State came into today averaging about 220 yards on the ground per game. And they have 181 today. Klein, play action fake, batted down. As we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary, Kansas State will be faced with 2nd down and 10 again. An incompletion on first down, and the story today has been the hookup constantly between Robert Griffin III and Kendall Wright.
And the other thing, Kansas State has left some points on the field. You see that 2 turnovers right there forced, only 3 points off of the turnovers. Colin Klein with the big interception when they were in scoring position in the 3rd quarter.
Design rollout on 2nd and 10. Klein flips it to the sideline, incomplete, intended for Harper. And here we are again behind the chains for Kansas State, 3rd down and 10.
That's shocking to me. It's again, I mean, after that penalty on the incompletion on first down, they get fresh life with the roughing the passer penalty. Now they throw it 2 downs in a row again and sets up another 3rd and 10.
Colin Klein is 0 for his last 6.
Wow.
3rd down and 10. Play clock down to 3. Crowd letting the Wildcats know about it too. Klein being pressured, fires one, and he's got Harper. Wow. First down in plus territory. A 13-yard completion on 3rd and 10.
Boy, credit the offensive line. I mean, obvious passing down. They give Colin Klein enough time to stand in that pocket. Big curl route to Chris Harper. Now just get back on rhythm. Don't abandon the running game right now. How big was that? You're right about that crowd. They help him out with that 40-second clock.
Klein again to throw it on first down. This time he's got Hubert. And it's good for an 8-yard gain. Nearly 9 yards on first down. Brody Trahan was there to bump him out, but it'll be 2nd down and 2 with 10 minutes and 20 seconds to go.
Hubert's become a receiver today. He gets his 3rd or 4th catch. He's also been a blocker today. Good football player, about 5'7".
Down the sideline, incomplete, intended for Andre McDonald. Crowd was looking for a flag. It'll be 3rd down and 2. With back-to-back wins to start the chase, points leader Tony Stewart goes for 3 in a row. The defending champion Jimmy Johnson looks to bounce back from a surprisingly shaky start. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues at Dover. Coverage begins tomorrow at 1 Eastern on ESPN with NASCAR Countdown presented by Napa. Third down and 2. Klein, quarterback draw. Spins very close to the first down. Well, it's no doubt about it. Down 2 scores, under 10 minutes to go. If you're short, you have to go for it here. And it looks like he might be short by inches. I would think that Bill Snyder would want a measurement here to see exactly how close they are. You can almost make an argument the nose of the football's giving them a first down. They're not even going to measure. Fourth down and inches.
Taking a long time right here.
Play clock at 4. Quarterback sneak. Klein moves the pile, and he's got a first down. No problem.
I tell you, if you're a Kansas State fan, you got to say, we're going to run the quarterback sneak. why are we letting that clock run all the way down to 1 second before we snap it? But so much of it, again, the scheme doctor wants to see exactly what defense Baylor is in, but they keep the drive alive right here. But it's been all Colin Klein throwing the ball here in the second half. I still think there's some life left in the running game for Kansas State.
Well, they've got all 3 timeouts. They've got 9 minutes to go. They have a first down now at the 30-yard line. Let's see what they do on first down this time. They'll throw it again. Klein. All kinds of time. Now we'll take off. He's at the 20. And out of bounds. First and 10 at the 17-yard line for Kansas State, as Baylor lost track of Colin Klein again.
College football has really become, Bob, the running quarterback, hasn't it? The game has evolved so much that if you don't have a guy that can make plays running the ball from the quarterback position, you don't have a chance to win.
Puts Klein over 100 yards rushing in the game, and that's his average. He was averaging about 103 yards a game through their first 3 games this year. Now Hubert. Down to about the 14-yard line. Tuesdays this fall, Tim Allen returns to ABC in a new comedy about a man's man living in a house full of women. Tim Allen is the last man standing. Series premiere Tuesday, October 11th at 8/7 Central on NBC. On ABC, pardon me. Second and 7. Hubert inside the 10-yard line. 3rd down and 3. Chance Casey bumped him out just inside the 10. 3rd down and about 2. And as deliberate as Kansas State is being here, they might limit themselves to just the 2 possessions that they need. It is a 2-possession game.
You know, Baylor's not going to keep it long one way or the other. So you're probably going to get it back.
Klein will try and run for it himself. Very close to the first down. It looks like he might have it. Trahan tripped him up.
It's interesting in this Kansas State offense how Hubert carries all the outside runs, the sweep type plays. And then Klein is the big power tailback that carries all the north-south type plays.
12th play of the drive, and it's 1st and goal.
And they've been in this formation, trips formation to the field with the tight end backside. Bill Snyder really feels comfortable in this formation based on how Baylor's lined up. He's giving him a steady dose of this.
Quarterback draw. Klein at the 5. Gets down to about the 1-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and goal.
He takes a beating.
Elliott Coffey and K.J. Morton combined to pound Colin Klein down at the 1.
Just visiting with him yesterday, tall, slender. You're surprised that he can take the kind of beating he takes down after down. I give a lot of respect to Colin Klein now. You play quarterback in this offense, you better be ready to take some hits.
They'll try and sneak it on 2nd and goal. The pile moves. He's in. Touchdown, Kansas State. Cantelli for the point after to make it a 2-point game. He's got it. 5:43 to go, and the question will now be, can Kansas State get Baylor off the field? As we have plenty of viewers just joining us, and if you are just joining us, welcome to Manhattan, Kansas, where it has been a back-and-forth affair between number 15 Baylor and Kansas State. 5 touchdown passes thrown in the game, by Robert Griffin. 3 of the 5 to Kendall Wright. Kendall Wright has put on a show. Griffin has helped him, and Bob Davie, this is the pair that somehow Kansas State now has to stop to get the ball back.
Yeah, this is Kendall Wright's first touchdown of the game. Tiptoed that sideline, kept his balance. This is the play on 4th down and 5 on the play-action pass. As explosive a passing combination, Robert Griffin, Kendall Wright, as there is in this entire country. And you said it. Number 2 offense in the country, Baylor. It comes down now to Kansas State defense. Can they dig in and get another stop?
It's funny, I heard Kirk Herbstreit on Mike and Mike on ESPN Radio earlier this week talk about this game, saying whoever would have thought that a Big 12 opener between Kansas State and Baylor would be in the 3:30 ABC time slot. Here it is, and it has been every bit the game that we hoped it would be. These two teams have put on a terrific show. Dimitri Dixon from the 1-yard line. The former Gonzaga point guard with a flag down gets out to about the 34-yard line. Flag thrown inside the 30, though.
We're going to get a hold, illegal use of hands, I think, on number 31 from Baylor on that kickoff return. Maybe not.
It's a long discussion and a vital call. And this could radically affect field position. If this is a penalty against Kansas State, Baylor would have the ball probably across their own 40, if not their own 45-yard line.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, receiving team, number 47, 15-yard penalty, first down.
There was a pretty violent hit by Robert Singletary on the way back behind the play, but I wasn't sure if it was going to be the call. There's 47.
Yep. Wow.
Helmet
that
to
is
helmet.
Helmet to helmet.
Good call.
Perfect definition of what helmet to helmet is. And you're right, Bob. I mean, that was a major call because of how it affects field position. See if this Kansas State defense playing in the shaded part of the field. That Kansas State offense kept the ball. They should be fresh, ready to go right here against this up-tempo attack.
Griffin will throw it on first down. It's bobbled and dropped. Terrence Williams dropped it. It'll be 2nd down and 10 at the 21-yard line for Baylor. And this also takes Baylor out of their comfort zone. They like to snap the ball with 25 on the play clock. And don't you think this is as good as their offense has been? Not the way they like to play, try to milk the clock at the end of the game. They'll throw it again. Interception! Bobbled and held on to by Arthur Brown. The first interception of the season thrown by Robert Griffin. And it sets up Kansas State in the red zone.
Number 95, Ray Kibble, made contact with Griffin just as that ball was thrown. Let's take a look at big number 95. Right over the nose, knocks the blocker back into Griffin. First interception of the year, as you mentioned, Bob, sets Kansas State up.
Griffin had gone 163 attempts without throwing an interception. He's got 18 touchdown passes this year, and that is his first interception. And now Colin Klein will call timeout. We will step aside. Kansas State on the doorstep of taking the lead. What a game we have had here in Manhattan. Bob Wischusen and Bob Davie watching number 15 Baylor and Kansas State in their Big 12 openers. And it's first down inside the red zone for Kansas State after the first interception of the season thrown by Robert Griffin. Klein on a keeper. Inside the 10. A gain of 6 on first down. Elliott Coffey on the stop for Baylor. And in case you're just joining us, the first interception in 171 pass attempts this season for Robert Griffin. And it costs a red zone possession inside of the last 5 minutes now for Baylor. Kansas State with a chance to potentially take the lead after Arthur Brown came up with the pick.
Clock if you're Kansas State. Let that clock run down. You can win this with a field goal. I know they want a touchdown, but use all the clock.
Klein blowing up, lost the football. The ball popped out, but it looks like he got it back. Ahmad Dixon came through and made the hit. That was a loss of nearly 6. That'll put him right back at the 15-yard line, 3rd and 10.
One of the few blitzes. You're going to see Dixon come off the corner. Hubert misses the block right here. There's 6 coming right there.
Boy, Klein lost the ball and somehow got it back.
Bill Snyder playing that clock right now. Very fortunate. One of the few blitzes of the afternoon by Phil Bennett. Brought Ahmad Dixon, a linebacker.
5 on the play clock. Down to 2. Klein, broken play. He'll maybe pick up a yard, and Kansas State will have a chance to take the lead with a field goal attempt.
Well, Huber went the wrong way that time, the running back. They wanted to run that little power to side play.
It almost looked like a false start.
Yeah, it was a broken play from the very beginning right there. And you kind of create a tough angle right here for the kicker. The ball over on the right hash mark.
So the pressure now on Anthony Cantelli. 31 yards away. 2 for 3 today to try and put Kansas State on top. And he's got it. There is a world of time left, though, for Robert Griffin. Baylor down by 1. They'll get it back when we come back. Baylor is number 15 in the country, their highest ranking in the AP poll since 1991. They have never won a Big 12 opener on the road. They are 0-7 all time. But they have arguably the best quarterback in college football, who just threw his first interception of the season to set up Kansas State with the go-ahead field goal with a world of time on the clock. 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go, and Robert Griffin's about to get the football back.
Kansas State struggled with kickoff coverage this afternoon a little bit.
Salubi out to the 27-yard line.
Even though Baylor only 1 timeout, 3:05 is no factor. It's not about time, it's about execution for Baylor. Number 2 offense in college football, potential Heisman Trophy guy right here. Stage is set right here.
Mom and Dad have had a lot to cheer about so far today. Griffin goes to work on 1st down. Trying to buy some time. Extending the play. And dragged down back at the 24. Arthur Brown had the pick, and now he gets the sack.
Arthur Brown, an explosive football player, number 1 linebacker in all of high school football a couple years ago, goes to Miami, transfers here to Kansas State to be closer to home. That was some speed on the field to track Robert Griffin down.
2nd down and 13 now for RG3 and the Baylor offense. They only need a field goal.
It's about as slow a tempo as Baylor's been in all day.
Ganaway empties the backfield. Griffin underneath, bobbled, held onto by Terrence Williams. He's 4 yards shy of the 1st down. Chapman made the stop, 3rd down and 4.
Goes without saying it's 4-down territory. Only need a field goal to win.
But winning the Heisman Trophy isn't just about statistics. At some point, if you're going to be the best player in college football, you have to face moments like this. And this early in the season in an opener might be Griffin's moment. 3rd and 4. Handoff to Ganaway. Shy of the 1st down. It'll be 4th down and 2. Again, the stop made by Arthur Brown.
I think if you're Baylor, you may use that timeout right here, because this is the game, and it's a 4th and legitimate 2. Be a good time. I think Art Browse letting that clock run down a little too much right now. I'd use the timeout.
About to go inside of a minute and 20 seconds to go. 4th and 2. They're 3 for 3 on 4th down today. 4 for 4, pardon me.
You have to think the ball's going to be in Robert Griffin's hands, either run or pass right here.
Batted down at the line. Jordan Volker knocked it down, and Kansas State is about to win it. Baylor has never won a road opener in the Big 12. And after what has been a career day, not only for Robert Griffin, but also for Kendall Wright. 3 touchdowns, over 200 yards, and they're going to fall a point short. Flags down. A false start in the victory formation for Kansas State.
For the snap. On the defense, hit the ball. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Trick where the nose guard tries to tap that football before it's snapped because of bad snap. But the interception, Robert Griffin, give a lot of credit to Ray Kibble, the big defensive tackle that forced that interception. Robert Griffin being hit as he threw it. But how about Bill Snyder? Maybe the coaching job of the century here when he resurrected Kansas State the first time. He's doing it again.
It's amazing. It was a program that when he took over had gone 0-26-1 in the 27 games they had played before he was hired back in 1989. And from 1993 to 2003, he took them to 11 bowl games in a row, 5-time Big 12 Coach of the Year, and last year got them back to a bowl game in the Pinstripe Bowl.
And maybe there's some wins left to the old methodical, power, control the clock kind of game.
And that's it.
What a win for Bill Snyder in Kansas State. And how far Art Browse has brought this Baylor program when you say, what a win to beat Baylor on the road. Both these programs on the upswing.
A 4th quarter comeback here at home for Kansas State, and they win a thrilling Big 12 opener over 15th ranked Baylor. Again, our final 36-35. Kansas State survives and wins it.